Blank check with Griffin and David. Blank check with Griffin and David. Don't know what to say or to expect. All you need to know is that the name of the show is Blank Check.
Let's get ready to Dumbo.
I fucked it up.
You did. You just said Dumbo.
Okay, take two.
Let's keep this in.
Take two.
Let's get ready to podcast.
Great.
Great.
Well,
Round
we're
of applause.
keeping the first thing in.
Yes, and this is an episode that everyone's going to love sonically because so far 3 out of the 4 people on mic are chewing.
Yeah.
We got 30 people.
We're hungry boys.
I'm off mic chewing.
Ben's got a salad. David's got a burger.
You got some pork in there, Ben?
It's pulled chicken.
Oh.
It's a whole chicken salad. I have a bagel twist, untoasted.
It seems
Perverse.
right.
Did you ask for them to toast it? Or
I
you just
did,
assumed?
and in fact,
Oh.
as they rang it up, it said bagel twist warmed, which is,
Here's my question.
they have a special button in the
Yeah.
system.
A bagel twist button.
Did you get your raspberry coffee?
But the warmed button, I'm saying specifically
Yeah.
to add
Oh.
plus warmed. It's like when you add like milk. I got my raspberry coffee.
Do you know this about him, Karen?
Raspberry
He drinks coffee with like raspberry syrup.
When did
Yeah.
this
You
begin?
want to smell a little whiff of it?
Yeah,
it
yeah,
smells
yeah.
better than
Hand
it
that
tastes.
over.
Yeah, take a little.
Wait, it
take a little
smells
sniff.
better than it tastes?
I would
Oh, it does
argue.
smell nice.
I like the taste. Most people like the smell,
Can I try
dislike
it?
the taste. Please take a sip.
Okay.
I think you'll think it's too strong.
Just tastes like coffee.
Okay. Well,
But I also don't drink a lot of coffee, so
sure.
I like me some coffee.
Me
some
too.
coffee.
I'm a coffee boy.
Yeah.
You're all hungry boys.
I'm so hungry. I'm a hungry boy today.
You're always a hungry boy. He's growing.
Yeah. We all had busy days. We all had busy. We're coming off of like busy, jam-packed days. The four
I
of us.
gotta speak some truth.
You just saw this movie.
Just saw it. My day.
Do we need an intro at all?
We'll get to
there.
it.
Okay, cool.
We've got at least another 30 minutes
You're right.
of preamble.
Yeah, you're right.
We went to see the Nets last night.
I just saw the pictures. I can't believe you guys actually did that.
We did.
And actually, it's going to sound pretty good.
You claim
Yeah?
the audio is.
It sounds
listenable.
good.
Yeah, right.
No, it sounds good.
Which
I
is
did
like a win
good-
for us.
Like, I did a good job.
You killed it.
You did do a good job.
But then I did a bad thing today.
What did you do?
Because I went to Dumbo and then I checked Twitter and people were like, Frankenweenie, Ben?
Oh, right.
You didn't put it up?
I forgot. I'm going to do it.
He forgot it existed.
I literally forgot.
Hosley!
I know.
Hosley!
So
All right.
it's on the record here. I fucked up. I get one mulligan. I get 2 mulligans a year.
I was about to say. You better up that.
Yeah.
So I get one more mull.
And you did nail the basketball game, which everyone said could not be done.
So thank you.
Yeah.
But you're right. Our patrons, I let you down, and I'm sorry.
Frankenweenie.
Right. But at the time you're listening to this episode, Frankenweenie has already posted.
That's true.
Hopefully.
Right. If not, maybe another talking to is required.
Yes.
It'll be out.
A polite conversation.
It'll be out.
And your
Our Patreon commitments.
and the B-Balls Boys episode is coming up.
May 11th.
Yes.
Yep.
And here's a little tease I'll give. It's definitely a live color commentary in the most traditional sense.
On the record, I want to say something that we
What?
did not realize was happening during the game because we were there.
Uh-huh.
We did acknowledge that Gabrielle Union was there.
Gabby Union. The great
Oh,
Gabby
wow.
Dwayne
Union.
Wade's wife.
Yes. The
and
most
she was
exciting
on-
part of the game for me.
Right. He was really pumped for
A
that.
movie star.
If you remember,
Sure.
there were also another couple times where like someone sort of stepped onto the court and the crowd cheered, like someone in plain clothes.
Yes.
And at the end, you saw Dwayne taking pictures with people.
Yes.
It was with the Banana Boat crew, which is LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Carmelo Anthony, the other like his pals in the league.
And they called themselves the Banana Boat
I'll explain
Crew?
that in 1 second. Well, 1 second. But yeah, so like they came to like see his last game.
LeBron was there last
LeBron was there.
Star of
I was about
Space
to say
Jam
this should
2?
be like
Exactly.
more exciting
they
for you.
walked in like
Another movie
unannounced.
star?
They walked
Exactly.
in right. Train wreck.
Yeah.
They walked in unannounced, like just as the game was starting, and they never did the sort of, the cameras in the arena never found them. So I assume they sort of.
But that
told
was
them,
all
like,
those
"Don't do that."
on court photos
Exactly.
at the end.
Exactly. Which
Wow.
makes sense because they're all buds. They all were drafted in the same draft.
Okay.
They're pals.
Now you gotta explain Banana Boat
So
Crew.
a few years ago,
Yeah.
these 4 guys, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Paul,
Uh-huh.
and people, and their families, their wives, their kids, whatever.
Right. Chris Paul of the YouTube polls.
No.
God,
Chris
no.
Paul, you might know him from the Allstate ads with his brother, where he has like a fake twin brother.
Probably
No,
not.
all right,
Yeah.
forget. They all went on vacation together, I think in like the Caribbean or something.
Yeah.
And they were posting on Instagram like lots of selfies drinking wine because, LeBron's obsessed with wine. And they're always.
Did not know this.
He loves wine.
When's he going to get his own wine?
That's a great. I assume like.
He should.
I mean, part of the California move, get a winery.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Could you imagine the fucking
I want to
LeBron?
imagine him going to like Kurt Russell for winery advice.
Oh, they should link up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, LeBron. Yeah. So and there was one shot of them all on a banana boat together, and it became so.
So they did
sort
not
of-
dub themselves. The people dubbed
The
them.
Twitter dubbed them that, but they have like embraced it. The banana boat crew. So they are the banana boaters.
And we are, let's say it,
Yeah.
the big ear elephant crew.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, look, is this like fucking slam dunk triumph? He got it back? Not necessarily.
This is like he threw the ball from the entire other side of the court and it like hit the backboard. So
Right.
it's still like pretty good.
And you're like, that's pretty
I think
impressive.
that's a good call.
That's
Yeah.
not a
Right.
point, but it's still impressive.
Yeah.
My takeaway is I'll allow Tim Burton to stay on Earth and not go to space.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Because I think we were all hitting the end of our rope.
Oh, I was done.
Yes. And maybe there's a little bit of freedom in knowing we're done here.
100%. And
It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
maybe it was just seeing it in the theater.
Some of that.
You know what I mean?
It
like
looks great.
The thing does look really good.
it looks good. Colin's in it. I think for some reason it's like I just was like a piece of tenderized meat by the time I saw Dumbo. I was just like, fine, yes, whatever.
I mean,
Beat me into submission.
here's another thing for me. Call me a sucker. Call me an easy lay.
Oh, boy.
You give me a movie where someone says, the elephant is heading towards Nightmare Mountain. And I'm kind of in.
Well, also, Michael Keaton.
Nightmare
I
Mountain
would
or
like
was it
to-
Nightmare Alley? It was Nightmare Alley.
Nightmare
right?
Alley.
it was
You've seen it more
Yeah.
recently than I.
Michael Keaton.
Also, the futuristic design bullshit. You
Well,
love that.
We're going to get into all of
Oh,
this.
It's a real
I-
griff kind of movie.
I was on the Culture Gab Fest to talk about Dumbo,
Brag.
among other things.
Retired bit.
No, brag is acceptable.
Okay. And I
Right.
know. We're taking different approaches.
And I remember Dana was just like, do you just have Stockholm syndrome? Like, you know what I mean? Because I was
right.
like, it's good.
Yeah.
It's interesting. He's talking about his own career. And like everyone else is like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's just like a shitty remake.
No, I do feel that. First of all, I think it's a lot more introspective than his recent films have been.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I think it is still a mess in a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
ways. I think most of those problems land on the feet of the script, but he has found some coherent ideas that transcend how sort of generic and unfocused the script is at times.
Mhm.
But we'll get into that. We'll embellish that. We'll talk about that for 5.5 hours. Our guest today, of course, from Polygon, the great Karen Hahn,
Hello.
is here
Hi, Karen.
in the studio.
Hi, guys.
And this is a movie with some KBs.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Big time.
I'm wearing my Michael Keaton shirt today
Yes.
in honor of this recording.
Which they very kindly sent me a Michael Keaton
Shout
shirt
out
as
to
well.
Super Yaki.
Have you
we
got
love
it
you.
yet?
Super Yaki. It's here in the office, right?
I don't know. I think
Ange
Ange
has
has
it.
it. I think
Ange has it. I gotta get it from
I have my
Ange.
mummy shirt.
Now,
Mommy shirt.
for any of the listeners out there that aren't familiar with the term KB, could we elaborate, please?
Well, we talked about it on Way to Water, but
But also,
who
did
knows who
anyone
listened to that one? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is a blockbuster up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. KB, of course, is a Karen's boy.
Yes.
Yes. And how would you define a Karen's boy? I mean, aside from the actors who you have crushes on.
I feel like the closest approximation I can think of is one of your previous guests on Alice in Wonderland made a tweet that was once like, everybody that you have a crush on looks like a half melted candle.
Sure.
And I believe on the last episode I was on, we refer to as they either A, have a lot of face, or B, like put in the work.
Yeah.
A lot of
I mean,
face.
like they're
I'd say
all
both of
true.
those things.
Yeah.
They definitely have a lot of face.
Oh yeah. Well,
Right.
that's why I like Michael Keaton's like straight shot.
Oh, God.
He has so much face.
he does have a lot of
We
face.
were talking while David was late to the recording, something
How
I would
dare I.
never dare do on this show.
Nope.
We were talking about how Michael Keaton's insane expressiveness, right? He's got a crazy face and he does a lot of face acting, has really just paid off in these later years where he has the most interesting wrinkle map a man has ever had.
Yeah.
Because his face looks like cross-hatching.
His whole face looks like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it isn't even just like, oh, he's got like deep lines in the corners of his mouth or crow's feet. It's just like every possible angle. It's like a fucking, it looks like a spiral graph.
It looks like if you took like in a video game, like characters are just all polygons. It's
Yes.
like if you took
you
the
stripped.
the color skin like
Right.
off and just
Right.
looked at the lines,
Right.
except that it's just
And nice plug for Polygon.
Thank you so much.
No, but it is that thing. It's like when like Pixar makes a film, they always talk about how we like have to create these expression points.
Mhm.
So if you strip Buzz Lightyear, you just see this really dense grid.
Just a lot of lines.
Because it's like, oh, he's got to have like 18 muscles in each eyebrow. And Michael Keaton, you're just
has
seeing
like
the grid
1,000
now.
in each eyebrow.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's so good.
Yeah.
He always looks on the verge of being angry,
Uh-huh.
but in a way,
He sort of got a pursed expression.
He's got
Yeah.
tight lips
Mhm.
and arched eyebrows.
And we
constantly.
talked about his lips.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, as you should.
Yes. As we all should for all times.
Yes, I agree.
There is an incredible moment in this movie that feels kind of PKB where you have
Mhm.
a $200 million Disney fantasy remake.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie has boiled down to three wrinkly gray
Yep.
men talking to each other about business.
While seated.
Yes.
Yeah. While watching
In a
everything
balcony.
else in the movie.
See if we open the bank.
like that's I was kind of into that. I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know how else to say it. You know what I mean?
I was into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It feels weird to see that much gray.
I'm
It's
Truly, right?
Here's my thing. And the
Yeah.
fucking Lion King trailer came out.
Okay, and we're going to talk about this. We have to talk about two Disney trailers in the midst of this episode.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. What's the
we've
other
been
one?
recording other things in advance and out of
Aladdin.
order.
Aladdin, right.
We got three Disney trailers to talk
Yeah,
about.
what's
wait,
the other
what's
one?
it? Toy Story 4?
Oh.
All right.
We got to
Oh,
talk
boy.
about Forky.
Yeah, yeah.
But, the most recent one is
Ben's giving me a thumbs up.
fucking Forky. He did 9/11.
How dare you.
Whoa.
My new thing is that saying the
Get
most
that name out of your mouth.
um
I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap.
Forky's in ISIS.
Yeah. No!
Fork ISIS.
Do you
The
know
Lion
my,
King-
my girlfriend has changed her background
She's
on
a
her
Forky.
phone? My
To Forky.
girlfriend, she's
I know.
14,
She
it's a
showed me
Forky.
as a rebuttal to my reasoned points that he is in ISIS
He
and
is
did
not!
9/11. And that he's a
Ugh.
narky.
David is like the Alex Jones of Forky.
Exactly. That's
my
that's a
God.
good brand.
Yeah.
There's something about Forky that really puts my teeth on it. That's just the minute I saw him in that full trailer, I was like, get this guy out of here.
This
I
guy-
don't like him.
Forky's great. He's a little cutie.
I think you don't
He's
like.
unsettling.
I think you don't like
That's
that
why I like him.
Forky is making you ask the big questions. The whole point of
Why am I
Forky is
here?
that he's unsettling.
Right.
Why am I alive?
Why am I alive?
Forky's fucking tough. Like
It
that's
always
the
stresses me out when the toys fall out of the car
Yeah.
in any Toy Story movie. I'm like, Jesus, they're so small. How are they going to get anywhere?
You keep on contending that you don't hate the Toy Story movies, but then it sounds like everything about the innate concept of the Toy Story
so
movies,
little.
a franchise based on
Griff, I've seen Toy Story 2 like many times.
good man.
Many times.
Good man.
That was the one I owned on
Right.
VHS.
Right.
One I've only seen like 3 times.
I'm just saying they always fall out of the car,
3 I only saw.
And it's
one
always
time.
harrowing.
and they always question why
Very
they're
harrowing.
alive.
They
always,
do always fall out of the car.
and they always question why they're alive. Forky more explicitly.
yeah, this seems
than
more
others.
explicit.
That's
right.
what I like, though. Let's stare it in the eyes. But first,
Forky's
let's talk
meme
Lion King.
culture.
Lion
Now,
King trailer.
Griff, I feel like your take on the Lion King so far has mostly just been like, I think this will be a hit. Like, it's not like you're super hyped for it.
No, and
You're
and,
more just sort of like, wow, this thing looks like a slam
and my
dunk.
whole stance is I see it through fairly sober eyes because Lion King was not one of my movies as a
Sure.
child.
Right.
I think I
Neither
saw.
Lion
Uh,
King was
I love
huge for
Lion
me.
King.
I think I
Yeah,
saw the
yeah.
musical on Broadway
According to my
before.
parents, the first movie they took me to a theater.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see it because I had a strong anti-death rule.
Oh.
I wouldn't see movies that had death in them.
I mean, there's a big death in that one.
Right, and I
Yeah,
heard
huge
that.
one.
Right, and I said, "Get out of here." I had been on the record saying I think it'll be the highest grossing movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been standing by that and
Yeah,
doubling
that's
down.
insane. Right.
The new trailer came out yesterday.
Yeah.
I am now terrified.
Yeah. The new trailer, I mean, look, much like the Aladdin trailer.
Yeah.
And, the Aladdin trailer best exemplifies this, I think. It's like when that score kicks in that
Yep.
you remember, you are kind of like, well, it's sort of Pavlovian. You're like,
Yep.
I love this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did
Did you see fucking Hans Zimmer just tweeted, "Are
Yes.
you ready for the music?" And
Yes.
it's like, Hans, that's like the only thing that we're ready for.
his only Oscar?
He should have 20.
You should have more, for sure. It's weird that it's his only Oscar, but it's a great score.
It is a great one.
And,
Not
but yeah,
only
well, also,
ready,
am
but
I
we
ready for
also-
the music? Like, I heard it
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
movie The Lion King.
I have it on my
25
iPad
years
right
ago.
now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I can
right. I
get
have
it on
it
Spotify.
Download it. Yeah.
But that trailer is so it's everything that I feared, which is if their faces are not expressive and instead are just animal faces, then what the fuck am I watching?
I think it's very unnerving that the trailer only has like
2 shots of animals talking.
And
they
not
know
even,
they can't do more because it looks bad and
It
weird.
looks crappy.
Right. There are 3 instances where there's sync sound and it's not even for a full line. They only show the mouths moving for about a word or 2, which I think is worrisome. I'm sure it's something they're going to futz until the last possible second to make it work.
I mean, I feel like the Jungle Book had the same thing where the trailer also kind of hid that. Like,
By this
a little
point,
bit.
they were showing it.
Yeah.
By this far out, the first couple trailers were kind of oblique. By this point, you were seeing like full Bill Murray dialogue.
So then, do you guys want them to have human faces?
Well, I think...
Just like re-release the fucking 1994 movie.
Yes, which they did, and it made $97 million domestic in 3D.
Right.
But also, I think Jungle Book, they pushed them a little further into stylization.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see Jungle Book.
They stylized it just a little bit more, and they let the performances be a little cartoonier, and they were juxtaposed with a real human being, and it kind of worked. I don't love that movie, but I think on that level, that thing works.
Yeah. It also has a human, which helps.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And this, I'm just like, this looks like fucking Planet Earth.
That's the thing. It looks like Planet Earth. It just looks like
cannot-
Planet Earth.
I cannot
it's a nature
see
documentary.
Right.
the notion, and I already think we've discussed
And it's
this.
like Scar's supposed to have a personality. It just looks like a fucking lion.
Right.
We posted about this on Polygon.com, but it was like a bunch of screen caps and we mislabeled one. We were like, that's Mufasa. And somebody was like, that's clearly Scar. And we were like,
Is
they
it?
look the same.
Is it clearly anyone?
But that sort of literalism of like, well, I mean, we just didn't want Scar to be red in the new film because, of course, in the real Sahara,
Make
lions
him
are
red
not
and
red.
make him hot
And
again.
it's like, who gives a shit? And like,
This is like,
Simba's
what are
not
we
hot
doing here?
anymore.
Right.
Like, Simba used to be a very handsome
Yes, he
lion.
looks like. I mean, but this is the thing. It's like if you're telling me Scar can't be red because we did the research and lions in the Sahara aren't red, is Scar gonna sing a song? Is he gonna sing a song?
He's not. They fucking
cut
cut Be
his song.
Prepared. That was like the big
They
news that came out.
cut.
I know.
Hey,
They cut Be Prepared.
I
The
know.
mics are literally catching on
That's
fire.
the second best song in The Lion King.
Yeah, they
Wait,
cut
what's
Be
the
Prepared.
first one?
Circle of Life.
Okay,
That's the only
yeah, all right.
good song in the Lion King.
Be
Like,
Prepared fucking rules.
Be Prepared rules. It's great. I love Be Prepared.
Elton John
but Be
went
Prepared
fully off the
should be
chain
your
for that shit.
sixth best song. It might like if you're making a hummin' Disney musical.
Yeah.
You know, your villain intro song should be like really good, but not, you know,
You're
But it's
saying-
always
not a
the
show.
best one.
You're saying it punches above its
Unfortunate.
weight class for
Little
the
bit.
standard villain song.
I think that the like, you know, more cheerful Lion King songs are a little,
Yeah, they're
you
kind
know,
of.
they're a little like tinny and
They
annoying.
slap. I mean, when
Oh,
the,
you think they slap?
I think when the beat drops.
You like
They're all-
Hakuna Matata?
Yes.
Do you think it's a wonderful phrase?
Yeah.
I like when they eat the grubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
like that.
So
I'm realizing
I've-
how
I
instrumental Timon and Pumbaa must have been in Ben's childhood.
100%.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys are cool.
They hang out around logs all the time.
Sure. They're dirty boys with like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Take it
better
easy.
get some bug eating.
Yeah.
And a lot of it in
I
this
think
new one.
Circle of Life. The problem with Circle of Life is it's so fucking good
Yeah.
that you're like after the first part of the line, the opening, you're like, well, this is the best movie ever made, and then like the movie's just sort of downhill.
That's also that
No,
first
Stampede rules.
Stampede's
that
great.
music is
Love that. Yeah.
amazing.
that first proper teaser where it was just the recreation of the opening of the
Yeah.
film.
And it just boom,
Right,
yep.
the title card.
Yeah. Hell
Right.
yeah.
And I was just like, this could be the highest grossing film of all time. Like, no one
It
can
was the
fight
highest
this.
grossing. Oh, you mean for the new one?
When they just
Right.
redid the original
Right. Sure,
teaser,
sure.
I'm saying. And even you who were like, this looks like a bowl of farts, you were like, I have to admit,
Fartball.
it's effective.
Yeah.
It gets to you.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the nostalgia.
Well,
And
I
now
mean, I
in
think
this
is the
one,
thing-
you're like seeing the same things recreated by less expressive animals, and they're afraid to show the songs
This
or the
too,
dialogue.
but-
I'm a little worried.
But aren't you see
Seth
this trailer?
Rogen's second build?
Aren't you going to go see this anyway?
Well,
I see everything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like objectively, you're like random on the street. You watched Lion
Yes.
King when you were like 5 or whatever,
Right,
and
right.
you see this, and you're.
No,
I mean,
I think for most people, yes, it's going to be an automatic, no question. I got to
Yeah.
see it, and I still think the film is going to end up probably being the 5th highest grossing film of all time. I just thought
what's number 1 right now?
number 1 right now is still Avatar.
Oh
course.
wow!
Yes.
Okay,
Which is
it's Force Awakens domestic, Avatar worldwide.
Got it.
the whole problem with your argument is that Avatar is such a bizarre phenomenon.
Yeah.
And like in my opinion, no normal movie will ever beat it. It's going to be something else we don't see coming.
And my argument was
Detective
that
Pikachu.
Lion King
He's on the case.
I've seen people on
He's
the record,
on the case.
I've seen people projecting that Detective Pikachu might be the highest grossing film Warner Brothers Pictures ever released.
What's that current record holder?
I think that current record probably has to be Dark Knight still.
Let's look it up. Let's look it up. 1 second, I'm looking
That's my
it up.
guess.
1 second, please.
Okay. What I was going to say was,
Dark Knight domestic at least. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like if they had nailed that, if they had figured out a way to make it photorealistic, but to have the animals be expressive, it was like slam dunk, like 2.2 billion. And I thought it had some of the weird Avatar fluke stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of it, like not skewing to one gender more than the other, dealing with this sort of like sense of nature, you know, this very sort of mythic storytelling.
The Lion King is Avatar.
Right. There are certain parallels in terms of like what they're keying into. But now they're so scared about clearly like they're not making this thing work. Here's another thing that's scary in the trailer. A lot of these animals in real life, pretty gross looking.
They're kind of boring.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like when you see a warthog
it's almost
at
like
the
they
end of
cleaned them up in 2D animation for a reason.
Right. I'm just like, look, I'm not saying I can't like Dirty Pumbaa. But it's certainly more of a barrier.
That immediately
you forget
was
just how fucking ugly warthogs are.
Yeah, that came up in the Slack almost immediately. People were like, "I do not like warthogs."
It's like gross. It's kind of creepy to see like a meerkat singing.
Right. It's gonna be. They cut Be Prepared.
They cut Be.
Why would you cut that?
I don't know.
Because
they want to be arrested and deported.
They want They want to be brought up on high crimes.
I'll tell you the actual reason. Okay. Because they had to add songs both for Oscar qualification and to sell Beyonce on taking the role. So Elton John like wrote 2 new Nala songs.
Like,
and I think they were like, we have to have a fixed number.
Yeah.
One must go.
Like
all
of them all.
None of what you just said is giving
I'm not
me
saying
a lot
it
of
makes
hope.
sense.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying
it's-
that was their reason.
But like, keep Be Prepared anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also like the Lion King is 88 minutes long. The animated film.
No question, this thing's going to be like 212.
Exactly. The
Right?
same
It's
thing
gotta
happened with
be
Beauty.
212.
Beauty and the
I
Beast
heard
was.
like a rumor is like 129 is the assumed
boy.
running time or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, Beauty and the Beast added 40 minutes to its running time somehow.
Yeah, with that one song.
I'm the Beast.
Everyone's
It
favorite
sucks.
songs.
I wish I wasn't the Beast. What's it called again? Like Forevermore or something like that?
The weird part is like that is a song that's extant in the Broadway musical. That's quite good. And
No,
then they
that
just wrote a
song
whole
isn't.
new one.
Yeah,
They wrote a
right.
new
Oh, yeah, they
song
wrote a different,
occupying the
a different
same narrative.
version
Yes,
of the same
exactly.
thing.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Because
the
they want to get that Oscar nom.
which they didn't, right?
No, they did not.
I just remember that he's like on the
Yeah,
top
he's
of
on,
the
like, the
castle. He's like,
balcony, yeah.
"No."
I went and saw that movie. I went to the bathroom, and when I was gone, that number had started, and I came back, and the Beast was just on the balcony singing to the skies.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck happened while I was peeing?
Well, I mean, that movie is cataclysmically bad.
I mean, you know my take. I think the first 30 minutes of that movie are good until they meet the Beast. I think the first 30 minutes are kind of a weird, like Condon doing his Bride of Frankenstein thing.
Yeah.
And I think they botch the Beast so hard. And once they get into like redoing those numbers with the creatures, it totally falls apart. Save for one performance.
Luke Evans
is good. There's one performance in that movie that is the most consistently I have laughed at any.
Tucci?
I'm not going to say at, with. Tucci rules in that movie. There's one that's even better.
Who?
It's Audra McDonald.
Oh my God.
As the dresser. The animation of the dresser is so fucking weird.
Yeah, that's true.
And her performance is so good. I was in on that. Okay. Trailer number 2. Aladdin looks like a shit show, right?
But like the kind of shit show that I feel I'm so afraid that I'm going to like so much.
I think
it
so
starts
too.
off strong with parkour.
Ben likes the parkour. It's another one of these things too, like The Lion King.
I mean, he does parkour, or he jumps around rooftops in the animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna get to how Dumbo avoids this trap.
This is of course what I was trying to cue up. Is that Dumbo doesn't do what The Lion King does, right? Like clearly,
but also what Aladdin does, where you watch both of these trailers and you're like, oh, so they like muted all the colors.
Yeah.
But then they
like the beautiful Technicolor animation is now.
This is
just
the
like,
thing.
Wait, Aladdin's so colorful.
The Guy Ritchie one.
Yeah. Like the parade and all that shit.
I think it looks
great.
really dusty.
It looks a little.
It does
dusty.
look very dusty.
Yeah.
And then I think you have certain costumes that look even still a little muted from their original versions.
Yeah.
I think elements are colorful. I think it's got sort of like a sand patina, which the nice thing with Aladdin was like sand's the base color, and then you got all these other things popping. The other thing that worries me, watching this trailer in a theater, which I had not seen it in a theater before until I saw Aladdin. I just watched it on YouTube, low 75 times. And I was just like, wow, this trailer has like 6 different shots of someone running away from a building collapsing. Like, why does this have this many, like, Iago flies out of a crumbling, like, fucking marketplace?
Yeah.
Right, so there's going to be like 6 set pieces. Guy Ritchie.
It looks like so many.
And there's going to be something about how,
stock,
like,
and 2
he's like
smoking
a bare knuckle boxer at one point.
And I'm like, fine with the parkour shit, because at least.
No, it's just like in King Arthur, where it's like King Arthur, we all know him. He's a fucking boxer, ain't he? You know, and he's like boxing with people, and you're like, what's going on?
And the parkour thing is like, that's in Aladdin. Like, the opening is like him like sliding away.
But he's
with
singing,
the apple.
you know?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Where I'm like, you can do that. I'll give you that.
Sure, of course.
I don't want him to be doing knife tricks.
I mean, that must be the Richie pitch, right? Is like, he'd be good at that.
Yeah.
He's going to make us Richie rich.
Does he do a knife trick in the trailer?
No, I'm just saying that's the kind of thing I don't want to say. I'm trying to think of like other things.
Love.
Right.
Go get me
But
carpet.
if he's a street kid, he's probably doing some shady stuff.
He's probably doing some shady
He
stuff.
steals a loaf of bread and then gives it to orphans. Aladdin's not shady.
He could be, though.
But then, what the fuck? Then it's like if he got the lamp, he'd be like, I wish pain on my enemies. Like, I don't think it'd go that
I'd watch
well.
the fuck out of that movie. That
Aladdin
sounds
just
good.
murdering people?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say the thing that I think we all agree with that might be a controversial take to most. I think Will Smith Genie looks like the best element of that movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's the element I'm most intrigued by.
Because it's the weirdest one.
Exactly.
It's the one thing that looks weird, and I will say the effects have gotten better between those 2 trailers. It looks less uncanny. And when people are like, it's weird, it's blue Will Smith, it's like, what the fuck do you want it to look like?
Totally.
He's playing the genie.
My only problem in that first sight of him,
Yeah.
in the thing that everyone sort of derided,
Yeah.
his body looked very squishy. It just looked off.
Well, as Mania pointed
it's a
out,
cloud body.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that in the cartoon, he's supposed to be a cloud.
Well, right, and in the cartoon, he's like a triangle. He's like got big torso, big.
But it works because the guy's not supposed to have any density, any weight.
Of course not, but also the idea is he's coming out of a lamp, so he sort of comes to a point,
Right?
Which I like. I think that's cool.
Right. It's a little unnatural.
I think it's cool. I think he's pretty cool.
I think it's
he lives in a lamp.
He lives in a lamp.
How many people live in a lamp?
He's a cool guy. David.
Yep.
Can you do me a favor quickly?
Sure.
Say my name.
Griffin Newman.
Nope. This is a classic Shazam style problem.
Okay.
You're calling me Billy, but what's my real name? My nickname. Of course, my ecstatic name.
Griffey?
Nope. You're close. That's a part of it. It's a 3-parter.
Downtown Griffey Nooms?
Well, that's what it used to be.
Oh, okay.
But my friend, I've changed my nickname. From here on out, call me Downtown Griffey Noom.
Okay, right.
Drop the Z. It's cleaner. And then put 2 O's in between the N and the M. You know why?
Right. The word you're saying is Noom.
Downtown Griffey Noom, because I'm Gaga for this week's episode. Sponsor. Noom.
Oh, you're Gaga for Dumbo, too.
Yeah, I'm Gaga for Dumbo. I'm Gaga for Gaga.
Gaga for Gaga. Gaga for Dumbo, but also Gaga for Noom. The company,
the Lady Gaga of sponsors. The Dumbo of weight loss programs.
Exactly. It is a unique product.
Much like Dumbo.
It can help you stick to a weight loss plan.
Much like Lady Gaga.
Because most people lose weight, they gain it right back.
That's the problem.
Weight loss plans, they tell you how to lose the weight. They don't tell you what to do after you lose the weight.
Mm-hmm.
But with Noom, you lose the guilt. You learn how to develop a new relationship with food. And you, I guess, change your name?
Some people don't know how to fly without the feather.
Okay.
And you need a little Nico Parker to take that feather and go like, you can do it without the feather. And that's kind of what Noom does. Noom assigns you your own Nico Parker.
Right.
Someone
a goal
to coach
specialist.
you.
Right.
Use scientific method.
Sure.
To figure out
behavioral change. They've got nutrition experts. There's a fitness trainer.
Fly.
And Noom has a whole community, a whole circus of folks for you. Noomers to give you, you can have like group discussions with, and they'll help you take the agony out of food tracking. They've got a big food database. You can track your meal habits. You can visualize portion sizes. You can see calorie density. They don't say don't have certain foods.
No.
They just teach you about moderation.
Yes.
And if you go a little overboard, there's no shaming, just tips on getting back on track tomorrow.
But the community is a good selling point because it helps to have someone else where you go, you get what I'm going through.
Sure.
You're fighting the same fights I'm fighting. That's one of those things Dumbo's struggling with. He looks around, he doesn't see any other flying elephants. And Noom, it's like a community of flying elephants.
So we got Noom. I got Noom. As we all know, Hot David 2019.
Hot David 2019.
Trying to, get in shape.
Looking smoking hot right now. Steam lines coming off. Yeah.
Well, it's all because the whole approach with Noom is that you interact with your goal specialist, you talk to other members, you update them on how you're doing, they give you tips on how to continue trying to get in shape, lose weight, do it, keep weight off, do whatever it is you're trying to do.
And you're talking.
It's an app on your phone. You're talking. Right, you're talking. Right. It's not just a machine
There's that kind of accountability. Now, David, this section is mandatory, and I want to state this cleanly because this is a mandatory section.
Sure.
Noom is designed for results. Okay?
Yep.
Out with the old habits, in with the new, or should I say, Noom habits. Now, what I want you to do. You.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Listener. And this is where their minds are blown because they're like, how did he know that I was a listener?
Right,
It's like the magic trick where you say, I'm talking to you, Jack. And you're like, there has to be one Jack in the room. So ready? I'm talking to you, podcast listener. Hold for shocked response.
This is why I usually do the call to action.
I want you to sign up for a trial today at Noom, NOOM.com/check.
Oh, so you want me to check that I went to the right website?
David, I have no time for this foolishness. I couldn't have spelled this out more clearly. I literally spelled it out.
Well, what do you have to lose? You can just visit noom.com/check.
What do you have to lose aside from weight?
Well, right. There you go.
You almost steamrolled through. That was such a good alley-oop, and then you didn't let me take it to the hoop and get that bucket like Candace Bergen.
Noom.com/check to start your trial today.
They call me
Groundtown Griffey Noom. That's right. You can go to Noom.com/check and start losing weight for good.
And tell them that Groundtown Diffie Doom sent you. Okay, now we have to talk about a real American hero, and his name is Forky.
Forky.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the Muller's looking into Forky. That's all I'm saying. True. That's all I'm saying.
It's not true.
I'm just hearing Assange went down today. He's got some Forky next.
What if there was a photo of Forky with a long beard being dragged out?
Forky's in the Bolivian embassy right now.
Oh my
he
God.
won't leave.
He wants to leave. That's the interesting hook to Forky.
Is that he doesn't want to be a toy?
He wants to die. He wants to be thrown out in the garbage.
You think he wants to? That's going to be the plot. He wants to die.
Yes.
I mean, that.
Why am I alive?
Saying,
Throw me out.
Interesting.
I don't want to have sentience. Why have you cursed me?
Okay. Yeah. If that's the actual plot of Toy Story 4, that's interesting.
That is the plot of Toy Story 4, my friend. You're not doing the heavy lifting.
Is it though?
Put two and two
is
together,
that the plot?
David.
Can I tell you what?
Or is it going to turn into some bullshit about how Woody needs to learn about growing up again or something?
Can I tell you what I believe the plots of Toy Story 4 are on the record? Okay?
Yeah.
Forky doesn't understand why he's alive. He thinks that it's a burden, right? Existence, mortality.
This is stuff.
Right.
It's the quintessential millennial storyline.
Right. You're singing my song, okay? Woody tasks himself with trying to convince Forky that being a toy is important and is a good life. But in trying to explain it to Forky in a way he has not before, because every character he's interacted with is also a toy, he starts to realize that his existence is kind of meaningless. He exists at the mercy of uncaring gods who will so quickly throw them away. And he's invested his entire life in this belief that being there for a kid is some noble calling. And then he meets Bo Peep, who was discarded by society, some fucking porcelain doll, too fragile to exist in our world, who is like, fuck it. Kids are the past. You just gotta live. We're tiny toys in a brutal world that could crush us at any moment. Just fucking live. I don't want to have a kid. And through meeting Bo again, who's been living on her own in this fucking post-retirement empty nest life of just like, I'm done with the rat race. Like, I'm just about me now. And Forky, who's like, I innately don't understand why you would want a kid. I think Toy Story 4 is about Woody realizing he doesn't want to be a toy.
And what does he want to be instead?
I think he wants to be Woody. I think
he wants to be like a sentient creature who's not tied to a owner.
Correct.
That's a lot to throw at the audience.
Wait, can he talk to humans then?
He always has had the ability. And
he does talk to Sid.
I kind of think he's going to talk to a human in this movie.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. But then what about all the other toys?
I think all the other toys are gonna stay with Bonnie. I think the film will end with Woody convincing Forky to stay with Bonnie, and Forky will kind of take the Woody role, and Woody will ride the road. Woody and Bo Peep just living until they break. You gotta live in the moment. You can't be at the mercy of some child.
Right.
I mean, this is some new territory.
I feel like it's maybe too new. I don't see Disney taking that much of a leap.
Exactly. Look, if they're going for that, okay.
I see shades of that in the trailer. When people go to the trailer as a mess, it's got 17 different tones in it. I advise you to look to any other Toy Story trailer. All of them are like that.
Look. You think about this shit 1,000 times more intensely than I do. And probably most people do.
I've gone so deep on this.
Exactly.
Thing. I have my beliefs. I see certain things that
my beliefs.
From them. There's certain things that scare me.
Sure.
But we will see. But that is my belief, the story they want to tell. If that is the story they're telling, I am so all in.
Yeah.
I have my fears, but I found the new trailer encouraging.
Okay.
The new trailer is fun. It's good.
When does it come out? July?
Good.
June? I think June 15th or something.
I'm ready for Tony Hale to have his time in the sun.
Tony Hale's going to have his time.
Doesn't Tony Hale have like 2 Emmys? He's in the sun.
They've never given him a chance, David.
Tony Hale?
He's never gotten a shot.
Tony Hale's doing great. He's doing just fine.
He needs 4.
Let him play
he
first
has 2
fiddle.
Emmys.
But how many Forkies does he have?
Yeah.
Just the one.
Just
David's looking it up.
It looks like just the one role as Forky.
Okay, so let's talk about Dumbo. Let's get ready to Dumbo, because here's the thing that's really interesting about Dumbo. It is only kind of a remake.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Because it essentially goes through the plot of the original film, which is only 63 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
It condenses it to like 43 minutes, adds in a bunch of new stuff, and then for the rest of the movie, he's just riffing on what would happen next.
Yes, 100%. He is riffing on that, and he's also riffing on his own career.
And through Dumbo,
his own career arc.
And
he
Disney
has
in general.
kind of found, because he's always, we've talked a lot through doing these episodes about how his early outsider movies are so locked into that feeling of like alienation. And then perhaps as he gets more and more success, what I have glibly said before as he gets happy, which many people have in the Reddit gone, are you saying he just stopped being depressed? And I don't believe he was ever that depressed, and depression isn't that conditional, this and that. And I go, no, I'm not saying it's a depression thing.
Right.
I just think he found his place in life
and
perhaps felt a little less out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Or others might just say, like, he did his thing. And he had done his thing.
And he got his sort of
And
validation, and they gave him the box, and he could do whatever he wanted with it. They gave him the endless sandbox and the, all the paints in the world he could ask for. But Dumbo is kind of the first time he has made a movie about his career as a weirdo who then, like, the studios... Yes.
Yeah, it's 100%. Reflexive, yeah.
100%. That's what I think.
That's when the movie is like fucking humming.
It's a little insane that the 3 of us are on the same page with this, though, because literally everyone else in my life is like, no, it was boring. Like, that's a bad movie.
Right. I'm surprised by how many people are going like, there's nothing there. This movie has no reason to exist.
That's insane.
And I'm not going to say this movie completely sticks it.
No.
I think it is good.
I think it's good.
I don't. Well, again, I think he doesn't like hit the net, but like he hits the backboard. It's still impressive.
So I think he hits the net.
Damn.
So here's my big take I want to throw out, okay? Because I think this movie's good, but about halfway through it, I was like, fuck. From the most unlikely of places, I see how this movie could be a full-on masterpiece. And we talked a lot about how Tim Burton, not a big fan of plot, right? He works better with films that are kind of episodic, that are ensemble-y, and this movie has an ensemble, works best when it's kind of zooming out.
Sure.
And when Dumbo is sort of just the audience vantage point for this tapestry of everything going on around him. I mean, I think it's very telling that he does so much like Dumbo POV in the movie.
Yeah.
That you have so much elephant vision stuff. because it's like
Elephant eye.
He's like really trying to put you in the place of this creature being freaked out by everyone looking at him, going like, when are you going to do the weird thing you do?
Right.
And that shift from revulsion to like admiration that I'm sure Tim Burton felt.
Right.
There was a thing that was circulating around recently that a bunch of people like sent us on Twitter. That was Tim Burton when he was an animator at Disney.
After he got his teeth out.
Had his wisdom teeth taken out, and then he didn't wipe the blood off of his face, and he came into Disney Studios with his wisdom teeth and carried them around and showed them to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just who that guy is.
Sure.
And everyone at Disney was like, what the fuck are we going to do with this guy?
Right.
And then somehow they were like, you want to make a movie about those teeth? And then the movies were giant blockbusters.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And the exact thing that people used to be like kind of freaked out by and felt like pity towards him for, then became like this asset that the studios tried to weaponize. And I think he kind of got lost within that system. Now,
maybe
this moment of clarity, I went like, fuck, the best version of this movie might be the one that doesn't even attempt to have the conventional Colin Farrell and his kid's spine as a through line throughout the movie. Hear me out.
Yeah, the kids are the worst part of this movie.
Don't you take Colin away from me.
Hear me
The
out.
kids could literally, in one scene, die in a fire, and I'd be like, were there kids in the movie? I don't even remember.
Ben is shocked he likes the kids.
The kids
I
are
like
bad.
the girl a lot.
She sucks.
She likes STEM.
But she likes science, and she doesn't have to be like, cute and like
Disney
interesting.
has successfully pandered to you, my friend.
Yeah, they did. I liked it a lot.
It is amazing how they just picked like one thing. They were like, well, she likes science.
Well, that's the thing they've been picking for like every.
They keep doing it.
Right.
Wrinkle in Time.
Awful.
But at least Wrinkle in Time is a movie about math.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in this, she's in a circus. I would be like, if I'm Colin Farrell, I'm like, listen, you don't go to school. You're not going to be a scientist. Learn other shit.
Right. And it's like time for lunch. And she's like, let me eat my lunch scientifically.
It's like, no,
It's
you better eat your lunch
infuriating.
quickly. Because you got to clean an elephant
She's
cage.
like, I love chemistry and Marie Curie, and the only thing that they show is like she has a chemistry set. She never opens it,
No.
and then she goes and sits in front
When's
of
she
Marie
gonna
Curie's
open
book.
it?
Their mom died.
That's true.
And
Their
so-
son, and they live in poverty. Let her have science.
What's she going to do with it?
Also, what is she doing? She's not doing
Experience
anything
the world.
with it.
She trains the fucking elephant using science.
No. She
No.
trains the elephant using animal trading and calls
Exactly.
it science.
This movie has good values for kids, and I don't want you to
I agree, but I think those values are
I'm
sold
mostly
through Dumbo
kidding.
and the adults. I
Right,
don't think
right,
the
right,
kids really.
The kids are a little boring.
This is
The
what
kids are a studio note.
100%.
Well, it's also a movie for children.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Dumbo's a child. It's good enough.
That's the thing. I think they probably
Fair
underestimated how well Dumbo would work as an audience surrogate character.
That's a little weird considering that they'd made this film called Dumbo.
Yes.
In which there are no children.
Right.
There's a mouse,
Right.
but there's no kids.
Okay, so this is my big idea.
Yeah.
So Dumbo, a film in which all the other animals talk. The humans don't really have big roles. Dumbo himself is mute.
Sure.
And
You're
he
talking about the
is
original
the
film.
original,
Right,
right?
yeah.
And it is another one of those kind of like, he's the ultimate vulnerable, sympathetic creature. He's kind of a cipher of just like, you have to pour your emotions
Yeah.
into him.
Yeah.
Because he just represents anyone's sort of weird quirks and their outsiderdom and their fears of abandonment and all of that. This movie beefs up all the human roles. None of the animals talk. I think they were afraid, and they were like, we got to make it like a Babe thing, except Babe talks and all the other animals
Except
talk.
Babe rules.
Right, but they were like, it's just going to be like the James Cromwell portion of Babe. It's about how everyone else reacts to this magical creature, right?
Sure.
But Dumbo works so well, and the human characters are most interesting when Dumbo is clearly like mirroring some element of them, that I was like, fuck, the version of this movie that I want to see, what I think is the perfect live action Dumbo, which this gets close to, is like the fucking Warhorse model.
Right.
Or the like Ohazar Balthazar model, where it's like,
No, that's true. They should have gone into Disney and been like, can we have $170 million for an Ohazar Balthazar Dumbo?
That's why I would have pitched it as Warhorse.
Sure.
Even though I don't think Warhorse totally works.
I
as
was
we've
about to
discussed
say,
on the
they'd be like,
podcast.
Warhorse wasn't exactly burning the house down either. Yeah.
I think you could do a movie that's not him being passed from owner to owner, but this film already ends up being somewhat episodic, and you have different sections focusing on different human characters. When Eva Green comes in, she kind of takes over for like 20 minutes,
Sure.
You start out with a lot of DeVito. I mean, Keaton has his chunk, whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's a movie where you just like really firmly stick with Dumbo,
I get you.
And
I get what you're
each
saying.
human
I get what you're
character,
saying.
it's like, here's how Dumbo relates to two children who have lost their mother.
Right.
Here's how Dumbo relates to Colin Farrell, who also has a weird physical quirk.
Yeah.
Here's Eva Green, who's also forced to perform. Here's like the two sides of like capitalism in like DeVito and Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
You want it to just be the movie where it's like each section of it, as Dumbo's career goes on, each section he's sort of passed off to another character for like 20 minutes. And that's the
It is weird how little they're willing
Right.
to kind of bank on Dumbo. They're like, he can't talk, so he can't be the main character. But it's like, this movie is called Dumbo.
Dumbo rules in this movie too. It's such a good character.
They've
so
animated him so well.
done.
Yeah.
Yes. And a weird thing that like we talk about like why remake these Disney animated films and just make them like, less colorful, less expressive. The thing I love is that he does make Dumbo really cartoony in a way that makes him very odd in a real world setting. Because all the other animals are photorealistic.
Yes.
And in the cartoon, when everyone's like, that Dumbo, he's a freak.
Right.
I'm like, this is a cartoon. Everyone looks weird. They all have giant eyes and they all talk.
True.
Whereas in this, when the other elephants look totally photorealistic and then Dumbo comes out and he has like Disney eyes on the front of his face.
Got the big
and
eyes.
the ears have like such a real weight and sense of physics to them.
Yeah.
You're like, that is kind of upsetting. I understand why this looks weird to people and why they would be repelled.
I don't
You disagree?
No. He's so cute.
He's so cute.
It's to me the craziest thing in this movie is that people make fun of him.
I am not saying that
He's so fucking
not
cute.
cute.
No, I know you're not saying
But
that.
he also looks otherworldly.
I guess so, but I know that he has to be bullied by the crowd because that's like one of the 3 story beats in Dumbo. So it has to happen.
He's different.
His name is I picked up on that. I picked up on the fact he's a little bit of an outsider.
Our dear baby Jumbo.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's happening to
Jumbo
that
D.
D?
Oh, the D's
no.
Oh boy.
I can't remember the last time we blew out mics this hard. Somehow this is less listenable than our basketball episode.
That was recorded in an arena as some shady boys.
Yeah, some sneaky boys.
Sneaky boys, not shady boys. Sorry, we're shouting next to us.
Yeah.
But he's so cute.
It is like genuinely upsetting when they start making fun of him, just because
I'm
like
like,
look
leave
how
him
sad he is.
alone. Right.
Exactly.
He's a little baby elephant.
He's a little kitty.
It's kind of like the moment in Shazam where the bullies beat up the kid with a fucking what do you call it?
crutch,
Crutch.
Right.
Bullies don't beat up kids with crutches. That's insane.
Right.
You would go to jail. Like
Also, like after they hit him with their
with a car. They would run away. They'd be like, "Oh my god, we ran someone over." They wouldn't be like, "We park there."
Yes.
That's our bit.
Yes.
Is that we're bad at parking.
Oh
boy.
But you know how, like, in the movie, every time they introduce a new human character or they, like, introduce that character to Dumbo, they're like, here's your job. You got to figure out how to do this with Dumbo.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, Colin Farrell, hide those ears.
Right.
Or when, like, Nico Parker herself is like, we're going to use scientific method to
Quote,
figure out
unquote.
how he flies.
Yeah.
And then in all those cases, they brush over that process.
Yeah.
And what I
Right.
want to see is, like, the 10 to 12 minutes that is just Colin Farrell one-on-one with Dumbo.
I mean,
relating to
I
it.
want to see that too.
And mirroring
Well, you
with
just
Dumbo.
want to see Colin.
Because you realize, like, all these characters have these Dumbo-esque qualities.
Yeah.
Right.
And they all go from being kind of freaked out by Dumbo to realizing, like, oh, Dumbo's making me, like, address the things I'm too scared to address in myself.
Right.
My own weird, broken qualities. And it's like, if you do that movie, where he's not switching from owner to owner, but he's switching maybe which person is taking the lead on him for that section, and then at the end, it's still everyone comes together to save him, that would be pretty fucking satisfying.
I think that is mostly what this movie is.
I think it's close to committing that hard. And I think the problem is anytime it tries to string the more conventional, like, the dad can't connect with the kids.
Yeah. Like, there's too much of that filler stuff. Like, it makes everything else kind of land less
Colin
well.
does a noble job, but it just feels like them going through the motions with all that stuff.
Look, I'm in the bag for Colin.
I know
Farrell.
you are.
He never connects with his kids, which I really like about this movie.
Yeah.
He is haunted as fuck.
Yep.
He wants to be a cowboy who rides his horse.
Right.
And at the end of the movie, he helps Dumbo and the kids.
Right.
But I guess he has that one conversation with his daughter on the bench, right? Like, but there's never he's haunted forever.
Well, here's
I like that's the choice he made, where he's like, no, I think this guy might not be fully recoverable. It's sort of like Casey Affleck in Manchester by the sea, where he's like, he can't beat it.
I'm not going to beat this thing.
he lost an arm. He lost his wife.
Yeah.
He saw the war.
But I'll say this, it's like on the same kind of note, okay? And I understand why, like, obvious Disney note, you do this.
Yeah.
Don't you think the movie's kind of better if Colin Farrell isn't the father of those children?
Yeah, I don't. He doesn't need to be their parent.
Two separate satellites.
Why can't they just be kids?
Right,
like any circus would just have some random weird child labor, right? like random orphans they kind of picked
That's
up.
That's the thing I was going to say. If it's still the premise of it's two kids and their parents died and now they're just adopted by the circus and they're kind of like,
and you just don't have to deal with it.
The circus is like a weird makeshift family, you know.
They were like, Nutcracker and the Four Realms flop. What can we say from that? And they were like, take the girl.
Oh, is she in the Four Realms?
No, but the character's like literally the same. She loves science, and her mom gave her a thing where later she's like, it was in me all along.
They must have added that because you know the story of that movie, right?
Four Realms having two directors?
No, I mean, I was initially going to make it, but it was just going to be three realms. So they added a fourth realm. So I guess you know that. We've talked about this.
What, that it was originally going to be three realms and they added a fourth?
I can't believe you don't remember this. This is like a whole bit we did on the Star Wars Board episode.
Yeah, I guess I remember.
You idiot. It's one of the greatest bits in the history of Blank Check.
Really?
Yeah.
Weigh in and let us know.
Anyway, so they must have added the STEM stuff later. That's all I'm saying.
But it is kind of beautiful when this movie starts.
I was trying to like dramatically sip, but I'm sort of out of liquid.
It is beautiful when this movie starts and it's like, no, he's doing the opposite thing of what everyone else is doing when remaking a Disney animated classic. He's making it arguably more cartoony. Like, this movie is so colorful.
Well, his use of CGI has always been so weird, where he like really doesn't use it in the way that anybody else uses it. He's just like, I'm going to make this look as less real as possible.
And look, do I prefer Practical Burton? Of course. Sure. But I think this is the best he's used CGI in the last 10 years, because pointedly, they shot this whole movie on sound stages. They planted grass. They built physical sets. The stuff that's CGI is the sky.
Right. The whole, Michael, what's it called? Dream World or Dreamland?
Yeah.
We were just, which one is it?
Dream World.
Dream World, yeah.
You know, that's a real set.
Dreamland, I think, yeah.
No, it's Dream World, according to. Well, no.
I thought it was Dreamland.
You know what? Wikipedia has both.
Well, okay.
In the description.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell was talking in that interview he gave about like walking around the set and how insane it was. You know, they built it.
Right.
This movie cost $170 million.
Yeah, they spent the money for this.
People on Reddit saying like, how did it cost this much? And it's like, there's so much money in this movie.
Yeah.
Even things like when they have that weird like World's Fair exhibit of like the Family of Tomorrow. And it's all the automated robots in like the living room.
Right.
And I'm just like, that's a very expensive thing for 2 shots.
Right.
Like,
for essentially an in-joke.
All out.
How come we don't have that technology?
Like the Family of Tomorrow technology?
Like,
what they got?
Rube Goldberg toast machines and stuff. I want that.
I mean, that's just a toaster.
Why aren't we the Jetsons?
Yeah. I want to wake up and I want like eggs to fly over my head and land on a plate.
Do you folks know Simone Gertz? You must know Simone Gertz, who rules.
Yeah.
Who's from Sweden? Is that correct?
Simone
She's
Gertz.
a YouTuber, and she makes...
She does robots?
Right, so she makes robots that are the kind of things that like the Jetsons promised us, where it's like a toothbrushing robot or like a hair washing robot, and they just don't work. But the videos are beautiful because she just deadpans doing a daily task while like a breakfast machine fucks everything up.
I mean, that's funny.
It's just those machines without precision. But I loved like that in the movie. And it's just like, it's clear like, you know, the bad side of late Burton is just like, they'll offer him anything. So he'll sign up to do a movie because he's like, I don't know, they'll let me do like 5 shots that I think are funny.
Right.
But he did find the kind of in here. And he even said he did one of those like Vanity Fair like breakdown anatomy of a scene or whatever videos with him and my girl Colleen Atwood.
Yep.
And he was saying, I have done movies that are all CGI and I hate it. It's really difficult and I don't think they turn out well.
Tim.
Yeah.
Stop. You don't have to.
Well, that's why I think he's like, I'm getting out of that. And he was like, it's like impossible. You can't like line up a shot. You have no focal point. And he was like, so for this, I was like, we got to make as much of this practical as possible. So the sky is CGI.
Right.
And then the Dumbo CGI, obviously, and those elements. but like the sets are really real, and we built like these massive dome sets.
I don't hate it.
I don't either. This opening of the film is very colorful. Another weird thing, as you said, his use of CGI has been used to like smooth out people's faces,
smooth out everything,
and desaturate everything to such an insane degree.
It's all blurry.
All blurry, all gauzy, all like nearly black and white.
Yeah.
You know, with maybe a couple purples sneaking through.
Right.
And in this movie, you're like, it still looks weird.
It's still blurry, but the colors are there. Yeah.
It's a pretty rich, vibrant movie.
It's a vibey.
And it's
vibing.
It's
Dreamworld
got different
popping off.
aesthetics. That's another thing I like about it, is that like the different areas you go to have different styles.
I agree. You've got the, you know, what's it? Where in Missouri is it again? Joplin, Missouri.
Yes, right.
Very, you know, sort of Norman Rockwell, you know, bright orange fields
and the
all
sun-faded
that.
paintings on the sort of chipping wood.
Yeah.
Carnival, baby.
Old trains are fun.
I like the implication. Old train. Love an old train.
I love that
an opening train. Yes,
Just
me
the
too.
Casey Jr. with playing the song and doing the like montage
and
of
I
like
thought the like
the multiple travel
all the murals
montages
of the acts on
Yes.
the
Yeah.
sides. That's
Love
such
it.
a great setup.
And the implication that DeVito's been playing
Okay,
two guys.
I need to talk about this.
He's playing two guys.
It's insanity though, because they imply it as you're saying, and then Michael Keaton at one point it's like, you've been doing this because you've always wanted a brother,
Right.
and then they never bring it back.
No.
They like
I wish
never
they
address it.
had even more of that.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
want-
agree with
I
you.
want that
like,
made
I want
text.
a Padme,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
Amidala switcheroo where halfway through you realize, no, there's only one man.
Where's the Sabe in this
Well,
equation?
And here's the thing, like, it's
Thank
not,
you for laughing.
Irrite.
It's not like
Who
I
else
need
we
that to
got?
be like a big plot point.
Sure.
But in the movie that's more about, which is when this movie works, it's doing this, but the movie that's even more about just these humans relating to Dumbo and reflecting to them, I kind of want Danny DeVito to have a scene where he emotionally opens up to Dumbo.
Right.
And he's like,
Yeah.
we all got an act, kid. We're all lying. We're all
He's
pretending
also
we're something
so
we're
good.
not.
He's so
I
committed.
gotta tell you the truth.
It
There's
would have
only
been
one
of
incredible.
this movie.
Yeah.
He is so in the pocket in this
So
film.
good.
Yes.
It's incredible how locked in he is in this film.
It's a little sad that he kind of disappears at the, you know, in the last half.
Yeah, 'cause
even
he-
though that's sort of the idea is he's
Yeah.
been like subsumed.
Right.
But I could watch. I like where the movie goes. I
Yeah.
like all the insane Tim Burton talking about how Alice in
Yeah.
Wonderland ruined his life.
Yes.
But if it was mostly just set in Joplin and set in this little circus,
Yeah.
and it was just like DeVito and like a family trying to like pull themselves back together,
Yeah.
I might enjoy that too.
DeVito coulda
Like,
done
that sounds
it.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would need to be like 80 minutes long. It would
Oh,
need
yeah.
to be like very short.
I just feel like DeVito, you know, especially like post Always Sunny, has become like mostly just a comedic figure of anarchy.
100%. He's become Trollfoot guy.
Right. And it's nice to see someone give DeVito like a chance to play emotions again in a role he could have phoned in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
We've all seen all those interviews he's been doing where he's like, I called up Tim and I said, I gotta be in
It's
Dumbo.
really sweet.
I gotta be part
Yeah.
of this thing. Because I believe you gotta find your feather.
It's his.
And he goes on his whole like
Yeah.
existential speech about like, we all got our feather.
It's his first film in 3 years that's not like a voice performance.
What was the last one before this?
In 2016, he's in the Todd Solondz movie Wiener
I was
Dog,
just about to say.
Right.
and he had a small role in the Taylor Hackford masterpiece, The Comedian.
Ooh.
I believe he plays Robert De Niro's brother.
I think you're right. I've seen that movie and reviewed it. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think you're right. He's married to Patty LuPone,
Who's, I
In that
believe,
movie.
right, Robert
who's
De Niro's.
the mother, the sister-in-law, who's always like, "Why you gotta be a comedian, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, pain in the ass is what you are."
You ever try not telling jokes for once?
Geez, you're always getting on stage and taking a microphone in your hand and telling jokes into it. What's that about?
The Comedian, of course, which is about to be remade as the Joker.
Basically.
What if it turns out Todd Phillips, the
It's gonna be
Joker,
good.
is like this exact same script as Taylor Hackford's The Comedian, except with face paint?
Having seen The Comedian, which ends with him, includes a scene where he kills Cloris Leachman's character through laughter,
Pretty twisted.
goes viral by doing like a pooping rap at an old person's home, and then has an affair with Leslie Mann. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Nothing more criminal than that film.
Yeah, agreed.
But yes, the zoning chunk, I mean, there is that kind of nice haunted Colin introduction of him getting off the train, the kids waiting for him, seeing him running towards him, and then slowing down as they get closer to the missing arm.
Right.
He does make this very bold choice to be just a guy who's never coming back.
Oh boy.
I do think, I know you love Colin. I know he's your favorite.
So good. Get the fuck out. Are you going to criticize him?
I'm not. I'm going to say a thing that I think you're going to be hard pressed to disagree with. Even if it starts to sound like a criticism, I think you're going to, oh, David's doing such a grouchy face. I think you're going to be hard pressed to disagree with this. Okay?
Go on.
Colin Farrell. Oh God, the face is so grouchy. It's
got
like a
the
real
picture. It's
sour
good.
lemon face.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Ooh.
Colin Farrell
CF.
is exponentially better as a leading man when the budget is below $20 million.
Of course.
Or in a bigger budget thing, playing a supporting character.
Here's the reason for that.
Yep.
I mean, in my opinion, the main reason for that is that Colin is always going to be a fifth choice for a huge blockbuster.
For this type of film. Yeah.
Exactly. As he was here.
Yeah.
Who
That's
were they trying to get?
Casey Affleck.
Casey
Will
Affleck would have
Smith,
been weird.
Will Smith, but Casey Affleck, Bill Hader
Whoa.
was someone they really wanted.
Wow.
Chris Pine.
Okay.
And then eventually we get around to Farrell, and
Hader.
Farrell took the role. Farrell doesn't do a lot of these movies
No.
anymore.
No.
And said he basically just took the role because he wanted to work with Tim Burton, which is,
Right.
I feel like, still the case for a lot of people who work with Tim Burton.
Now, the Hader one is interesting because this is the other part of my
I mean,
calculation.
Hader bringing Barry energy, like
Yeah.
bringing Haunted, might be good.
I mean, look, he is truly one of our finest actors. I've contended for a long time Bill Hader's
Love
probably
Hader.
one of the 10 best actors alive.
Okay.
I truly believe that.
Sure.
He's great.
Yes. And I think he's certainly shown that he can do a lot more. It would have been interesting to see him in this. I think the other thing is Tim Burton leading men, when you have your sort of generic leading man character, they tend to fall into the background unless they're played by a comedian or someone with a strong comedic background.
Yeah. But also, like, Colin Farrell
I mean, this is such a haunted role. Like,
is also just, like, normally he's
You're
like
wrong.
not interesting to look at.
that's fucking
Like,
insane.
he should have, like,
That's
the
crazy.
lobster mustache
That's an
or
insane thing to
glasses.
say.
Like,
This
he
was
should
my
be doing
girlfriend's
something
take
insane.
too. I was like,
That's
he's so
bullshit.
handsome, and she was like, he's so handsome, it's a little boring unless he mussies himself up.
I'm furious.
I'm not saying I agree with this.
I really like your girlfriend, but I'm pissed off at her right now.
I'm not saying I agree with
Jesus
this.
Christ.
But it made me go,
It's, like, something weird should be occurring.
Yes.
Like Jude Law, like Dom Hemingway. Interesting. That movie, whatever.
He blows chunks all over the screen.
But he's like way more interesting as a
No,
leading
he's
man
not.
in it
That's
because
some
he
ham
looks like a
sandwich
fucking
shit.
insano.
And,
I hate this.
Jude Law, our friend Joe Reed was
Love
tweeting this.
Jude Law.
Jude Law weirdly gets hotter when his hair starts
Yeah.
going.
Jude Law has figured it out, and I appreciate that. I love Jude Law. I'm happy that he is in this new zone he's in.
Sure. I do think there's a thing with Colin that he is so perfect looking.
Yeah.
Like, he is such a... I mean, like, that's great.
I don't agree with you at all. I think Colin
David just
really
showed us
has
the
the
picture of
face
Colin Farrell in the
someone
clown makeup.
who's has the face of someone who's been through a lot of shit, which he has.
Yeah.
He's got a really worn,
Yeah.
leathery quality to him, and it's
Yeah.
why I love
But
him.
like-
One of the many
Such
reasons.
Fine,
That
delicate
works
He's
when
a
it's
handsome boy. I mean, there's no
Warren-
question.
Like, it looks better on, like, a Mendelsohn face. Like, there's already interesting shit
Get
going on
out
there.
of here.
We're going to tell Karen to get out of here for finding Ben Mendelsohn more attractive than Colin Farrell.
Stop dissing Colin.
The
I'm
brand is
it's
strong.
not a
Good.
diss. I still
So
love him.
good.
I just think in a role like this, he works better. And it's the same thing. It is nowhere near as disastrous. But you look at, like, Asa Butterfield, and you're like,
Is that how you say his name?
I don't know. Who knows? Asa Basa Butterfield.
Asa Bates.
I think it's Asa.
Yeah. You're like, oh, God, this film needs someone who is funny playing this part. Because he tends to not know how to connect to...
But Colin's so funny. Like, not in this, but like,
that's
he's very, very funny
That's
actor.
the thing.
Yeah.
I agree
Right.
with you. I think he's
Like,
capable
like
of being
the
very-
Madonna
bosses.
movies, like, he's very good at the sort of, like, live wire stuff.
Right.
And then also the Lanthimos movies, he's
Agreed.
very good at
Yeah.
the weird sort of sad sack
And
humor.
he's the best part of Horrible Bosses.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's very
he is. That's
good
right.
at comedy. Of course, the greatest comedic performance of the 2000s, Bullseye. Top of the morning to you.
There's something going on in that movie.
I would have nominated him for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, I love him as Bullseye. I mean, that movie is horrifying, but yeah.
But he is a guy who, like, unlike someone like Hader, who even when playing someone like Barry, who is very haunted, has an innate comic energy to him
Yeah.
that you can't knock out of him.
Right.
Whereas Colin Farrell is capable of going just totally straight,
Yeah.
or being totally sinister, or totally romantic.
I think sometimes he feels a little bored by, like, I think you think of what's it called, Total Recall.
yes,
Where it's, I mean, that movie's worse than this movie.
Right.
But, where he's just sort of like, what am I doing here?
and he is a haunted guy.
So haunted.
He's best when people let him play that, and he's also one of these guys that we talk about a lot in this podcast. A lot of our favorite actors who are like incredibly handsome men who are sort of mistaken for leading men, but are really character actors.
He's got that going on, no question.
Yeah,
Right.
Colin's big time in that category.
Right, and it is.
Well, except he's a great leading man.
But is he a scumbum?
He certainly can be.
I don't know if I'd classify him as
No,
a scumbum.
he for sure
he
is.
can be scummy.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen like True Detective season 2?
I have.
Hello.
Yeah, I know.
Hello. Rouge
I
is
know.
pretty scummy.
But then I guess
murdered a child.
that's true.
yeah.
That's
All right.
true, but
It's
I
not
What?
considered
Welcome,
good.
Colin, to Scumbummery.
Yeah.
I mean, he was trying to murder a priest, and he accidentally murdered a child,
Right.
which is, in my
don't think
opinion,
that-
a little scummy.
I think that's scummy technically, but that's not like when you say scummy, that's like the image.
I get what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Aesthetically, he's
Yes.
perhaps less scummy.
But I'm saying, like, you look at this performance.
Dom Hemingway is scummy.
We're bringing it back to Dom Hemingway.
I haven't even seen the movie, but the guy looks good on the poster.
Yeah, he looks great.
He looks great.
Richard E. Grant's wearing like Hunter S. Thompson glasses. It's
Oh.
great. It's perfect.
There he is. I mean, he's certainly. I mean, Dom
He
Hemingway
looks like a
is.
scum.
Yes, I mean that's the movie. The movie
Yeah.
is just him being like,
Yeah,
like that.
literally.
Ding dong.
Oh.
Ding dong. Ding dong.
Who's that at the door?
Let me open the door here. Oh my God! Look how quickly he's roller skating into our recording studio. I love Silver.
Okay.
I'm Silver member.
Okay. I understand. Like Goldmember
Well,
from the movie.
he's my brother, but I'm my own man. I am very, very different. Let me tell you
Okay.
some things about me.
Okay.
I love Silver.
Stated. You like roller skates?
I love it. I am Dutch. Isn't that weird?
I guess so.
Also, I eat my own skin flakes.
So you're just Goldmember.
No, I'm not. I'm a very different person. I'm my own person. I have nothing to do with my brother. I like offering guests some sort of smoking device and some sort of pancake type product at the same time.
Like
Blints in a blunt,
any others?
crepe in a cigar.
We're going to be sued.
By who?
Goldmember.
He's my brother.
all right.
I have nothing to do with him. Now, here's the thing.
Okay, here comes the pivot. Let's see how you do.
My you
Let's
know
see
what.
how you do, Silvermember.
My you know what is Charlotte Silver.
Okay.
It doesn't breathe very well,
No. Okay. All right.
right? So I was looking for underwear that could help me out.
Sure.
So I did a Google search, silver underwear.
Sure.
And what do I find?
Yeah.
This company, Mack Weldon,
Well, because they've got a line of silver underwear.
they got a full
shirts
line of silver underwear
that are
shirts.
naturally antimicrobial.
And let me tell you, silver attracts a lot of microbes.
Well, you know what microbes are? Stinky.
Very
And,
stinky.
You know, these silver products eliminate odor.
And you're roller skating all the time. You're smoking. You got maple syrup
Yeah,
on your
you're kind
chest.
of a stinky guy, I
I
guess.
build up a bit of a musk.
Well, Mack Weldon will be the most comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, and sweatpants and more that you will ever wear.
And-
I have
and-
a bathing suit from Mack Weldon.
Well,
It's
I mean,
good.
Come on, keep
It's
it
like
in
a
your
blue
pants.
camo.
Ooh, nice.
I know, it's cool.
And
It's
also,
almost like you could disappear into the ocean.
Yeah, no one can see me. Stealth.
oh yes, like Dr. Evil submarine base. The thing you have to understand here is, unlike my brother, I am very active. I'm disco dancing.
Your brother's like this too.
No,
He's the same.
I'm nothing like my
He's
brother.
really
I am
very
nothing.
similar.
Let me finish the things I do.
Okay, sure.
Disco dance, roller skate, put my legs behind my head.
Right.
These are things you need flexibility. You need comfortable clothes.
Well, that's true. And Mack Weldon wants you to be comfortable. So if you don't like your first pair, you can keep it and they'll still refund you. No questions asked.
And look, I don't have time to go to the store to try out different brands. I need the clothing items shipped to me at home because I'm very busy. I also, as you may know, direct transgressive Hollywood sci-fi films.
Does Goldmember do that?
No, I mean, my other brother, Paul Verhoeven, does it too, but I'm nothing like him.
I see. Your brother from another mother.
Our three brothers.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't really
He
know.
was born bronze member, but he changed his
I
name.
don't, I don't know how to pivot out of this. So I'll just say that Mack Weldon's underwear, socks, and shirts look good, but also perform well. Good for working out or going to work.
And if I can just jump in here for a second.
Oh, hey, Griffey Nooms.
You get so many different... it's downtown Griffey Noom. Please, drop the Z. It's cleaner. And more on brand with our sponsors of this episode. You can get so many different types of items from them. Because the underwear is unbelievable.
It is good, yeah.
I love it,
yeah.
okay? Mm-hmm. But also, I got like this nice sort of like sweatshirt from them.
Sure.
Some of my favorite comfort items.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I got a bathing suit from them. I got I get those polo shirts. A lot of those polo shirts. That's kind of a classic work item for me.
Sure.
Because they're like fairly comfortable, but like
yes. I still remember. I'm agreeing with you.
Right.
Yes.
You still remembers here. I'm wearing one of them right now.
Yes.
The website's really easy to use. I mean, Mack Weldon, we haven't had them for a while, but they're our first ever sponsors. Nice to have them back.
Oh, how sentimental.
Exactly. Well, okay, listen up, silver member.
Yes.
For 20% off your first order, you can go to MackWeldon.com and enter the promo code CHECK at checkout.
Well, what do I gain from doing that?
You get 20% off your first order.
20% off?
Yeah.
I can use that as savings to finance a movie about space fascism.
I see. You've brought in this other element late. Okay, cool.
What do you brought in? I'm describing my own life.
I'm sorry, silver member. I didn't mean to be mean.
I'm nothing like my brother.
For 20% off your first order, MackWeldon.com, promo code CHECK.
Bye. Colin Farrell's choices to play the emotional integrity of this character.
Right.
Which is surprising.
Well, but like everyone else in this movie is silly.
Agreed.
Everyone else. And he's being handed a character who is a armless war veteran whose wife died. Yeah. So you think he should be coming in and being like, hey, kids, my bit is hot dogs. I love them.
This
and he's
is
like
why he
throwing
should
hot
have the
dogs.
mustache. It just adds it without
He needed
having to...
something.
Yes.
He needed a little
mustache.
Kinda. I think it would make a huge
This is
difference.
how Karen eventually, like 20 years from now, is like running a studio. And like some director's like, you want me to give him a mustache? And she's like, yeah, I'll give you a green light if he's got a funny mustache.
20th century Han. Karen
right.
is
And then like 20 years later, the guy's giving an interview to a journalist. She's like, Karen Han just wanted a mustache on him for some reason. That cost us $100 million.
Karen is also like Agent Smith in The Matrix Reloaded, where she starts to infect everyone around her with her viewpoints.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh
She hits
God.
your chest and you're like, I guess I do want more Craggle.
I love
on that
Colin
face.
Farrell. I will defend him to the death.
So I'm just saying, as opposed to Keaton, who makes one stunning choice in this movie, which is, these movies always have this guy who is presented as benevolent, and then you realize at the end was actually evil all along.
Sure,
and you know
sure.
from the moment the character's introduced that he has no narrative function other than to turn out to be evil.
Right. He's just money. He's
Yeah.
like a man who is made of money.
He's big
right?
Disney.
He's just walking money. Yes.
Right.
Big
And there's
Disney.
always that section where they're trying to like fake you out that never works and it feels like a waste of time.
It does.
And Michael Keaton's
He's like, let's skip all that. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He
Let's just
enters
jump
into it,
to
he's
the
like,
end.
what if I'm
Yes.
evil incarnate? What if my take on this character is when he's pretending to be the nice guy, he cannot pull it off.
Right, exactly.
Everything he does is terrifying.
Yes.
Which is incredible, and it works with the thing that Burton's locked into in this movie, which is
Yeah.
just like, no, it's just like these are like vampires in show business who just like suck people dry and throw them out.
Right.
And then like yell at them for not having enough blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's so good.
He's so good.
He's
He's
amazing in this movie.
insane in this.
In that like Anatomy of a Scene thing on Vanity Fair, Atwood and Burton said something.
Vanity Fair, Vanderveer.
V.A. Vanderveer. I love the triple V's.
Yeah.
Of course.
I love that's not Vandermeer, that it's Vanderveer.
The alliteration is good.
So good. And then
Max
he's
Medici.
Vav.
Great.
Yeah. But we were talking about how weird it is that Keaton is not in much of Batman Returns.
Sure.
Which we were like, it's a bold storytelling choice.
Right.
As someone who has worked on a superhero TV show, I'm surprised that I didn't put together until they sort of said this in this video. I think he was like, hey, I hate wearing that fucking costume.
Right.
We're cutting my screen time down to like not. Because they were like, yeah, we like, you know, this is our first time working with Michael since like Batman.
Return, sure. So
right.
like more than 25 years.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like, you know, it was like kind of trying in our relationship that Michael was so uncomfortable in the costume. So when he signed on for this, he had like extensive costume notes that were all about comfort.
Wow.
So even the things like him having the sort of the ascot.
Right,
Was he was like, I don't want to wear a tie. Ties make me uncomfortable.
Wow.
Jesus, Michael.
And he's like wearing like loafers the whole film.
2 years
Wait, he
back
said
in the
this-
spotlight, and he's giving costume notes.
Well,
Yeah.
he said this in an interview too. He was talking about the wig. He was like, I hate wearing wigs. I
Right,
hate
didn't
being in the
wanna
makeup
do
chair, and
it.
I don't
Yeah.
want to do it. And then like he was the one who, when he was talking to Tim, he was like, should I have a wig?
Right, I know
And
what
Tim was
this
like,
guy's
yes.
hair is. Right,
Yeah.
But also a beautiful choice to make it a character who wears a shitty wig.
right.
So like the wig never even attempts to look real.
It looks great.
Right. The longer the movie goes on, they, without ever making it a total gag,
Yeah.
just like make it more
Like it
and
never
more
flies
skew.
off. It's
right.
just weird.
Right.
I'm just looking at him right now. I mean, you
My
have a
handsome
movie
boy.
that is constructed so that the villain is going to bring about his own demise by like ridiculously like setting the whole place
It's
on fire,
amazing.
right?
Right.
And like that is nominally like that's just stupid. Why would he do that? But Keaton has done such a good job playing himself as basically like a ball of lightning as a person.
Yep.
Business Beetlejuice. as you
Business
said.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
As Karen said, like that, you're like, yeah, he probably would just like throw the switches, even though everyone's like, don't do that,
Yeah.
you know, because he's not of this world.
Because he feels satanic
Yes,
in this
yes,
movie.
yes,
Right.
yes. He is Mephisto.
I would watch an
That's who
entire
he
movie
is.
of
Yeah.
just this character.
100%. I would watch a whole movie of this guy trying to like take over Wall Street,
Yeah.
doing it,
Yeah.
and then causing the Great Depression.
Because you texted
You know
me.
what I mean? Like, I watch
Yeah.
that movie
Yeah.
where he comes in, teaches them things, and everything goes up, and then it all crashes down,
Yeah.
and he like jumps out of a window.
Yeah,
and
I mean, that's-
disappears.
That sounds glorious.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
it
was
sounds amazing.
very surprised it wasn't and Michael Keaton.
Is it Anne DeVito?
There's no and this feels like a
Right.
movie that's begging for an and
Yeah.
he really is the shiny and part because it takes a while for him to enter.
Do you think it's an
But his
and
entrance is so good.
competition? Where it's like DeVito, Arkin, and him are all potential ands on any
That's
project.
my bet. So they were like, none of you.
forget it. No and.
Right. I think
Right.
so. Yeah.
Instead, he's second bill.
I know, which is kind of surprising.
But he is kind of a bigger deal than
Oh, yeah.
DeVito
He's
or
a bigger
Green
star,
these
but
days.
DeVito
Yeah.
really is kind of the second lead of this movie.
I would agree.
He arguably might have the same amount of screen time as Colin Farrell.
He also has a
Maybe.
better. He's more compelling.
Yeah, he's so good
He's
in
so
this.
good.
Yeah.
I just like how sort of innately this guy, while being kind of a rapscallion, believes in like the magic of the circus.
Like weirdly, one of those performances where I'm watching it, I'm like, Danny DeVito like should be a romantic lead.
he's pretty romantic in this.
Yeah.
He's very romantic. You're right. He doesn't really have like that arc.
Yeah.
No.
A lady or a man.
But like he should.
So talking about the self-commentary Burton thing, right? I feel like the DeVito character he is using to sort of express a Roger Corman-esque, you know?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
kind of shrewd.
Remember when we all we're kind of like, everything was falling apart all the time, but we were all in it together.
And it was
right.
trash, and
there
these
were
guys-
monkeys in the drawers, but who cares?
But also that Corman thing of like he was a businessman and
Right.
he was ruthless and it was all about the numbers, but there was weirdly some heart in it.
yeah,
like,
and he
was
kind of
like-
loved us all. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, he loved his weirdos and he was like, I want you to do better than me and like
Right.
find a path out of here. And it's like the stuff that Burton grew up loving is like this genuine trash.
Right.
Trash that wasn't crassly designed, that had some heart in it, that was made by this kind of circus energy of, the outskirts of show business where it's like people coming together and going to a haunted mansion and
Yeah, it's very
gluing
earnest.
some shit to someone's face
Sure.
and trying to make a monster movie in 5 days.
Yeah.
And then Keaton kind of represents Walt Disney.
Oh, for sure he
kind
represents.
of.
Yeah,
Right.
he 100% is
That's
Disney.
the only reason I want to say he represents only kind of Walt Disney is because he represents half Walt Disney and half the 2019 Walt Disney Company.
Exactly.
Because
Well,
so
yes.
much of his hostile takeover of the Medici Brothers Circus feels like the Fox takeover
That's literally
happening
what
right
that
now.
is. Yeah,
Where
with
it's just
everyone
like,
else getting kicked
we
out.
We love the history of Fox. We love it. By the way, we're only going to make 2 Fox films a year and all of you were
And
fired.
this is your office right here for all of Fox, and that's that.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll tell
Oh,
you when
by the way, you have to fire everyone.
Right. That whole thing.
On the deal, does Murdoch? It was just a one time he got all that money.
Correct.
Yeah. He
So-
sold the film studio.
Right, but it's essentially though Disney gave like that guy his
So
family
much
so much
Fucking
money.
money.
I never really connect that dot
Right.
until really like thinking about it now. But
Mm-hmm.
sorry to.
No,
I
I'll
mean,
say
they
this,
gave him
yes.
the money that he would have made
I
over
understand.
the
I
next
know, but
several
it's just
years.
what
Right.
an evil motherfucker.
RM? Yeah.
Roots.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things too where you're like, well, okay, so like you give him the money, now he doesn't have as much influence over art, so that's maybe better for society, but you're also making him richer, but he also still has control over Fox News and News Corp, the stuff that he can use to cause his most damage.
He recently fell down and almost died because he's very old,
right?
And I think that was part of that thing of like enough, like let's get rid of all this.
His sons
are fighting over it.
Are just like, we don't want to run all of this stuff.
Right?
They're like, Fox News is his thing that he fucking wants and won't let us drop. Well, and then there's the couple things.
One of the sons wants Fox News, and the other one was like, let's get rid of it.
Right? There's one liberal son.
Right? James was supposed to join Disney and didn't.
Yes,
because it turned out Disney were kind of like, it's all. The Times had a whole.
Anyway, get back to your metaphor.
No, I do want to say this though, not to like open up a whole can of worms, but obviously the last couple of years, there's been a lot of conversation about like, who are you supporting by paying your tickets for this thing, and should these artists work with these people and this and that, and it is very weird how just like 20th Century Fox News Corp like never came into question of like, should you be making movies for Fox that are ostensibly funding Fox News?
Yeah, but they weren't really. They were divided companies always.
No, and I'm not saying that like.
But yeah, I mean,
that one-to-one. It's just weird that
involve evil.
That never really happened. There was the one moment where Fox News started sort of like there was a call to violence, and then like a couple Fox TV people were like
a few people.
They were like, I'm going to end my overall deal when it naturally expires 4 years from now. I think Feig did the same thing, which now he's just left Fox totally.
He left,
right. But a lot of them were like, "I will leave as soon as my deal is done."
For him.
Yes, it is just a weird. It's a weird thing. I mean, that's the thing. Like, right? It's Via Vanderveer is maybe like the Walt Disney Corporation as run by Rupert Murdoch. Like he's maybe closer to Murdoch in temperament and personality.
He's got a bit of a Disney look, and it's sort of just that idea of like the way he enters from the car.
Yeah,
that it's like, wow, this like magic man,
and like, then he keeps
there's
selling.
Nothing like him, right?
He's like evil Wonka,
and
You've made me a child again. Like how sinister everything sounds.
Where you're like, wait a second, aren't you an adult? Like, why are you talking like this? Why do you want a dream world? Like all the sort of questions that come up from that.
Weird borderline lisp, and then like very weird affectations when he's talking.
Very weird affectations. And the notion that so much of it is like a persona he's creating to like sell the sort of like the whole company line of wonder. But then the others, I mean, it reminds me a little bit of like when Michael Eisner tried to make himself Uncle Walt and would like introduce all the things.
Right.
He was like, nothing's more magical to me than Tinkerbell. And it just never like, he had such a heavy hand.
He was a studio guy. Like,
Not all of us can be Reggie.
Right. Remember when Tom Hanks played Walt Disney in a movie?
I think he was really good in that movie.
It's a weird movie.
It's a weird movie.
He's about to be Mr. Rogers, too.
That's fine.
And he's
just not
Colonel
Disney?
Tom Parker.
He's got that energy. Disney wasn't like that.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah. No. Disney was like a chain-smoking maniac. It was like, draw faster! I'm going to build a city under the ground!
Have we already talked about whether we think his head has been cryogenically frozen? It's just out there.
That's made up, right? Isn't that made up?
I
but
think
like
it has.
Why would you cryogenically freeze a head?
Can I throw out my hottest take? Because at that time, people didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Here's my hottest
whereas
take.
now, they're like, yeah, it'll work.
Barbra Streisand has cloned dogs. It's fine.
I think he did it. And after 15 years, they were like, this thing's like rotting. Let's just like throw it out. I think they tried it and it didn't work at all, and they just gave up on it.
This rumor began in a print article in EC Paris that has been largely distributed to Disney executives who hated Walt Disney, trying to humiliate him.
Ooh la la.
And his daughter was like, I don't think my dad knew what cryonics were when he died. Like, she wasn't even like, this is ridiculous. No, he would never do that. And it would definitely never be in like a chamber in Orlando. Like, she was just like, what? Like,
how great would it be though if like he played it really close to the vest and like 8 years from now when Bob Iger steps down, he's like, I'm very proud to announce my successor, Mecha Walt. Yeah.
Or it's like he's like a Zordon where like his head's in a tube.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's like, Disney's IP portfolio is stronger than ever. You have to explain to him like what Spider-Man is.
Now, the other thing I think is really interesting.
Oh, you have to show him the new like Mickey Mouse animated weird comics too. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I think those are good.
No, they're really good.
Yeah,
I don't think I saw
they're
that.
new Mickey Mouse cartoons that are actually funny.
They're really
Cool.
Where you watch them and you're
bizarre.
like, oh right, this used to be like a comedic character who had a personality.
That's the thing people forget about Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
He wasn't introduced as a mascot. It was a cartoon about a funny mouse.
Yeah, here's what's crazy. They have these new cartoons that have this very weird, specific art style.
Mhm. It's like Adventure Time, but mean.
Yes, and Mickey is kind of a little stinker.
Yep.
Like the way Disney had like sanded off all of his personality because they were like, he just needs to sell beach towels.
Right.
Now there are things where he like is like petty.
Yeah.
And he like
Yeah.
tries to trick Donald.
Yeah.
He gets like angry at Goofy.
I feel like that's right. That once we were kids,
Yeah.
Mickey just didn't have a personality. That
It
was
was
sort
a
of the
he's
problem.
just an image, yeah.
Right. He was just boring.
and now he's like, Donald, I swear to God.
Are you auditioning to be the new Mickey?
Maybe. It's Chris
We're rooting for you.
Damiantopoulos or whatever
Oh,
his
sure.
name is.
Yeah.
Man of a thousand voices. What I want to say is the other shading to the Michael Keaton character, which gets to the other main live action performance we have to talk about here, is the weird implication that he has never had sex with Eva Green but wants everyone to think he has.
Right.
Yeah.
And by choice is not interested in her sexually,
Sure.
Yeah.
but wants to perpetuate the notion that they are lovers.
Yeah.
I didn't read that.
You
I
just
thought,
read that they
I
have
thought
sex?
it meant that he just has multiple like mistresses.
But she says to him, because Colin Farrell's like, it must be nice to be a boyfriend. She's like, we are not that at all.
Yeah,
He just-
I'm
she's
just
like, I'm a
one
ring
of
he
his
wears.
girlfriends. That's how I assume.
She said, I'm one of like the rings, the jewels he wears to reflect light back onto him.
Sure.
Right.
Which I took as
She's like a trophy and arm
Here's
girl.
the
right,
thing.
but I think the full extent of that relationship is the trophy.
Here's the thing we can all agree
Because you get
on.
the sense that once they're out of public, they just like go completely separate.
And
didn't-
here's the thing we can all
I
agree
didn't
on.
think that.
Kids love this stuff, what we're talking about right now. When kids are watching the movie, they're like, yeah, what is going on here? That ring line is really evocative, right?
But that's where like the weird Burton stuff comes in.
Yeah.
And it's the other thing that like now it's crystallized to me what's kind of cool about Eva Green in these Burton films. And like Peregrine suffers from not having her for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Dark Shadows, I was in a very bad mood when we recorded the episode, and I wish I had defended her performance a little more.
I don't think any of us were mean to her, though. We were all just sort of like,
That
yeah, she's
character
doing
is
an
a
Eva
little
Green
tough.
thing.
Right.
Yeah. That character sucks.
Yeah, agreed. But I
Yeah.
think she's a lot of fun in that movie.
She's great. That character sucks.
She's a great screen presence.
She's
I
wonderful.
I highly enjoy her. I wish she was not in the zone she's in where she just doesn't get to do anything good.
Agreed. I do
She's
think
good in this.
in
She
this,
did Casino Royale and then it was just
I mean,
after
she's
that.
incredible. That's one of the great performances.
Yeah, she's
yes, it's
amazing.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
In this, what I found really interesting is after two Burton films where he cast her as some variations on a witch,
Mhm.
in this she does not play a witch.
Interesting.
And it reminds me a little bit of your beloved Christoph Waltz in Alita Battle Angel.
Are we getting into Alita talk?
Right? I think she's got a similar thing going on in this because there is something innately weird and menacing
Little-
about Eva Green.
Right.
And she
right.
has
She's
this
sad.
weaponized sexuality. She always makes sexuality scary, which I like that because she does that.
She doesn't have a rocket hammer, though.
She doesn't. I like
That's
that
crucial.
because she does that, she is maybe the only actor in the Burton canon outside of Pfeiffer as Catwoman to successfully smuggle sexuality into a Tim Burton
We
film.
don't think DeVito Penguin was
I mean,
up there?
he fucks.
He tries.
Yeah.
I love boobies.
Yeah. But
That's what he's like in them.
Right. I
Yeah,
just
sure.
like this movie revealing her as like at the start, you're just like, oh, this is some weird like gothic ice queen character, this like unapproachable arm's
Yeah.
length. And then you get to the back hallways and she like shows up in her like weird gym workout harness, like her gothic
I love
harness.
that. Right.
And she's like, look, I'm a performer. We're all just like doing our bits.
They want me to ride the elephant? I'll ride the elephant.
Right. We don't have any relationship.
Right.
I'm just some street performer from Paris. Like, let's get down to work.
I love that scene. I think it's one of the best scenes in the movie.
I think she's really good in this.
The Dumbo training scene that they're doing with the net.
Right. And
Karen's making her face.
I like her
It's a great
weird,
scene.
uncomfortable kindness in this
great
movie.
scene, yes.
That she is a fully decent character who
I think
isn't
it's-
super adept at expressing
I think
kindness.
it's flirty. That thing where Colin's like, "Oh, you're not all dolled up anymore," and she's like, "Fuck you." And there's a lot
You
of
just
sparks
like,
flying.
well, we know you just love bossy girls.
Karen's got my number. She's right.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
I love a bossy girl.
Yeah.
Bossy round face. That's
Bossy
my
round
type.
face.
That's the thing.
Bossy round face.
It's a thing my friend said to me many years ago when I was in a theater with her, and there was a trailer for, I think, Short Term 12, one of the Brie Larson movies, the earlier.
Yeah.
Movie. And I was like, I have a crush on her. And she was like, yeah, well, she's got round face. And I was like, what? And she was like, you always like bossy round faces.
I know everyone else has already memed this some weeks back.
Okay.
But God, what an incredible fucking casting job on that movie.
Yeah.
Wait, on which movie?
Short Term 12.
Oh, of course.
I rewatched
Also,
it.
that movie's just good.
It's incredible.
That movie still rules.
Incredible.
So fucking
I want to
hard.
point out that I had Caitlin Dever and Keith Stanfield on my Oscar ballot.
Same
that
here.
year.
Same here. I
Fucking
had
great.
and I had
Yeah.
Brie Larson. I had three
Yeah.
of the four acting
Brie's my
categories.
winner.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think Lakeith was my winner that year.
He might be.
Yeah.
Let's look at the old spreadsheet for Davey. This is my new favorite segment.
I think I lost my rich text doc because it was back on my Windows
That is
days.
hysterical. Anyway, my point is, I
on.
love Ava Green. I think she's boring in this movie, and I also
Interesting.
think that scene with Colin is boring. Their
I think that
flirtation
scene
is
fucking
dumb, and I
rules.
didn't like it.
I liked it, but I also admit I might just be in the bag for the second they're on screen together. I'm like, yeah, those are two people I would like to watch have sex.
Okay, sure.
And I'm no prevert, but occasionally you see two
A
nice.
prevert?
I'm no prevert, but occasionally you see two nice looking movie stars in a movie, and you go like, yeah, I would be into that. And the two of them with their like sort of like bruised, like smoky, like sad sexuality. I'm just like, yeah, give me those two.
I think they're great.
Raven-haired beauties.
I don't think she's boring. I think she's
really good in this,
interesting.
and I like that she is very kind in this. It's the same thing as like the Alita thing, where she's
where Christoph is like just dad.
she's similarly not trying to play against her innate energy. She's imbuing it with a lot of other things that no one else has let her color around the weirdness.
I think this, I get what you mean, but I think it'd be better served by the version of Dumbo that you're kind of describing earlier.
I
where
agree
it's
with you
just
100%.
Yeah.
Sure.
And at that point, maybe I was really locking into like each character, what they were doing on their own.
Yeah.
And like, how would they react in a scene just with Dumbo? When they're talking to other humans, I'm a little less into the movie.
The dialogue borders on horrible 45% of the time.
Yeah. And a lot of the human stuff feels indifferent.
Yeah.
Until you get to those moments where the character sort of says their like mantra. You know, in the way where Burton's like, oh, that's the thing.
That's what they're about.
Right. The difference between these people, these weird broken people who are compelled to do their weird thing, whether or not there's an audience.
Yeah.
Right.
And only know how to like relate to other weird broken people.
Yeah.
And the people who just see those people as dollar signs.
Yeah.
And anytime it's in that sort of dialogue, you know, the movie I think is really humming. Anytime you're just on Dumbo, the movie is really humming.
Dumbo's a good sweet boy.
He's a good boy. I think that he's great.
Yeah.
Another thing I think we should talk about is that anytime that Dumbo flies in this movie,
it's amazing.
It's pretty sweet.
I cry. Tears from my eyes.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think partly it's the Pavlovian. Like I loved Dumbo.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now.
It's great. And it's shot so well when he just like swoops through the entire tent. It's amazing.
I think that trailer is underrated as one of the great trailers of recent times that ends with DeVito going, whoa, like as he flies over the sort of short
I think
trailer.
it's a beautiful teaser. Yeah.
I think it's so good. But anytime he flies, I also just think that if Dumbo flies, like I cry tears from my eyes.
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to, what's like the most incongruous movie? Like you could fucking dragged across concrete. If Dumbo like flew in the middle of that movie, I'd probably be like, oh, look at Dumbo go.
Well, and that's another thing where it's like you put the genie in CGI and live action, and you start to get in all these questions of physics that work against the character.
Right.
But when you have a real kind of semi-tangible looking elephant,
agreed.
Yeah.
And you see him flying, it goes like,
it's great.
The original Dumbo is better, but the flying in this is more visceral and more emotional.
He feels heavier when he takes off.
He feels so fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
He's
The
just
original
flopping
Dumbo
around.
is better except for the crows.
The crows.
Which is rough.
Yeah.
Right.
It's no good.
But,
it's no good.
It's no good. It's an 80-year-old movie.
It's no good.
The other thing that's fascinating about Dumbo that I feel like has been discussed, and I think I talked about it in my review, is that like that movie was made when Disney had no money. They had sunk all this money into Fantasia,
That
and
was
it hadn't
their
worked.
budget sort of programmer.
They were essentially like, we need to make something cheap and fast that will float us.
It was the only one of the first 5 Disney films to make a profit upon release.
Right.
Oh.
Because it was so fucking expensive to make an animated movie.
Yeah.
And this was the one right after Fantasia, right?
Which was like
his
was
big.
Fantasia was the one they sunk all the money
My
into.
sweet baby Fantasia.
Yes.
And Fantasia's obviously
so good.
a masterpiece.
Right.
And I'm glad they made it.
Yes.
And I think it probably eventually turned a profit.
But the
because
whole-
they would keep
for sure.
That's the re-release model comes out of like, I gotta figure out a way to make these movies go into the green.
Well, that, but also videos didn't exist.
Yes,
I mean,
sure,
people,
sure.
But it's crazy to think about that Disney, that sort of lean, cheap Disney,
Yeah.
Right.
versus this behemoth that made this movie that is going to be a bomb.
Yes.
It's not good.
It did okay, right?
It had like a 70%
It had a
drop in
big
its second
drop.
weekend, which is
Okay.
crazy for
Yeah.
a kids movie. But this isn't a kids movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're realizing now that outside of the initial sort of like novelty factor of the first couple,
Right.
these live action Disneys kind of need to be in the Renaissance era
Yeah.
in order to really make bang.
That's where the
older
nostalgia
ones,
is, right.
the
Yeah.
nostalgia buttons aren't as hard for the generation that would now be taking their kids to see
Yeah.
it.
Maybe they were like sort of bewitched by like Maleficent doing well, but like that's an Angelina Jolie thing,
Right,
yeah.
you know.
right.
That's a Charlton thing.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Talk about
You're
another very weird performance.
So much.
Really, even by his standards.
Even by
very
But,
his
odd
like-
performance.
standard.
Good.
I
I really
mean-
like him in that movie. I'm sorry.
That's a very carrot opinion.
Yeah.
I'll say
know.
this: Charlton made my best supporting actor for the A-Team. I think he
Yeah.
18?
rules in that movie,
No, he's good.
and I find that movie to largely be
It's bad.
a disappointment.
Tiresome.
Yes.
I don't even think of that movie as like a disaster. It's just boring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Right.
I think he's so good in it.
Well, because he goes like full weird. In
Maybe
it.
for
Yeah.
the Patreon one day we can do like a Blankies episode for a yesteryear. You know what I mean?
Oh, that
You
would
know,
be
like a
kind of
2002 blanket, right? Like
right.
pick
We
some
pull up
year.
our old files.
Yeah.
yeah,
That'd be fun.
yeah. Because I definitely have some weirdo pick. I mean, I've implied a couple of them.
Exactly. And you
Colin
can
Farrell and Daredevil. You
can look back.
copy in the A-Team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Cool.
Charlton's good. His career is gone though.
yeah. But that's
His
like
career has gone. Yes.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
disappeared.
It didn't go south. It just went.
That is
Yeah.
the weird.
It went
snake-
hardcore, Henry.
It went hardcore Henry. He's very good in Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
What?
Have you seen that movie?
No.
He's very good in it.
Yep.
I kind of liked him in Free Fire, which is another movie
Well,
I did not
he's
care
always
Never saw
good,
Free Fire.
especially
Not
when he's
good.
allowed to be like mean.
Sure.
Because he has such a specific sharp face and a specific sharp energy, and whenever he's allowed to use that, it's great.
He looks like a snake.
Oh, it's amazing.
He's a human snake. Man.
I love
He
him.
does. Yeah.
Also, Free Fire, amazing cast, horrible movie.
Very bad
Haven't you?
movie. Very
It's not good. Noah Taylor's in it, and it's bad.
bad. And only Karen would
Impossible.
say that as if we're like, Noah Taylor. I mean, I
got-
like the guy.
They got the raw sex appeal of Noah Taylor.
Yeah.
All 75 pounds of Noah Taylor.
I just think Ben Wheatley is one of those. You know,
What's he doing?
He's got a lot of skill, but
What's he doing?
I don't like. His movies
Was
that
he
much.
supposed to do a DC movie? Was he
Was
going to
he?
do Deathstroke? or
No.
One of those?
I don't
He
think so.
does weird movies where like someone gets run over by a tractor trailer or whatever.
I liked Field in England.
I believe he
That was
was
about it.
supposed to make a DC movie. Was Joe Manganiello playing Deathstroke? Was that the one he was playing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to make a Deathstroke movie. I'm going to look it up right now.
You go
What I was
right
going to
ahead.
say is the weird thing about this movie is that it is kind of the snake eating its own tail because you can go like, it's insane that they took this like
Yeah.
little Disney, let's keep it small and simple movie and blew it up into a $170 million tentpole film. But
Right.
then the movie also, because they hired Tim Burton to do it,
Gareth
becomes-
Evans was going to make
Oh,
it.
okay.
Right.
because they hired Tim Burton to do it, then becomes about how these things get corrupted by getting overblown.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I would be against making a $170 million Dumbo unless it is what they did, which is a movie about how you should never make a $170 million Dumbo.
In general, I have no objection to that.
Yeah.
If I'm running Disney, I might have some questions.
wouldn't have
Let me
greenlit
run
it. Right.
Disney.
Yes.
Okay, Karen.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's do it.
I appreciate it.
David.
Yeah.
You know who I'm excited to have back as a sponsor this episode?
Who?
Our friends at Mubi.
Mubi.
Because this is a podcast
Mubi.com.
about filmographies.
Yep.
And I love to sell other products.
Sure.
But it's nice when we can kind of keep it in the family. You know what I'm saying? In the cinematic family.
I imagine if you guys are not on Mubi already.
Right.
You guys like movies. Movies.
Well, they probably like both.
They like movies too. Like, get to Mubi. You'll like it. Trust me.
There was one Redditor at the beginning of that community being formed who pointedly said they don't like watching movies and only like listening to our podcast. Save for that one lunatic. I imagine the rest of you all like watching movies.
You crazy person.
And here's the thing. There are a lot of streaming video services these days.
There are.
But maybe you noticed, their classic section is shrinking.
Yep.
Their foreign film section is shrinking.
Sure.
We're losing a sense of cultural history.
Yeah. But I mean, Mubi, so as you may know, Mubi has this sort of carousel feature. It's basically 30 movies at any given time, and every day one drops out.
But
and
a
one
new
gets
one
added.
comes in.
And so they have all these great series, and we're going to talk about some
and
of the
you're never
movies.
going to run out of movies because they're always adding a new one.
They're always adding a new one, and they've always got new stuff for you to check out, and it's a great way to sort of like think about the kind of things you want to see, but also they can be reactive. Like when Agnes Varda died, Mubi immediately just like every day was putting on a new Agnes Varda movie, so that, it's like they can kind of like figure this stuff
like
out.
Muzzy. They put the entire
all the
3 VHS set of Muzzy on there. I will say, another thing is, I feel like on some of these rival streaming platforms.
Sure.
You see a movie, you go, I've been meaning to watch that forever. You add it to your queue, and then you never get around to watching it because you take it for granted it's always going to be there. I like the ticking clock of Mubi. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You go, this is in, I got 30 days to watch this.
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
And they'll, Mubi will tell you, like, it'll send you an email being like, hey, this one's going to go soon.
All right. By hook or by crook, you're gonna educate yourself.
Like, I better watch.
Tell me what we got right now.
Beaches of Agnes. That's about to go.
Okay.
But here's some of the newer ones
Please.
they've got. Like Carlos Regadas, the Mexican director. Silent Light is up there right now, which is a great movie. If no one's ever seen that.
One of the great Sunrise movies.
Yes, beautiful Sunrise.
Truly. Up there with Murnau's Sunrise.
Battle in Heaven, which is another of his films.
Okay.
He's got a new movie coming out this year, so if you want to brush up on him.
You're talking about movies in dialogue. They'll like run through a director's filmography so you can really dig into it. They'll tie up to people who have new releases coming out.
They have an interesting one from a director that like would fit for us, Zhang Yimou, the Chinese director, The Flowers of War, his film with Christian Bale, the big restaging of the Nanking Massacre, sorry.
Kind of a bounce. But maybe
it's a bit of a bounce, but big and
for a reappraisal.
We've got some. Claire Denis has a film in theaters right now, right? High Life, and so they've got Bastards, which is a very underrated film of hers. They've got White Material, which is one of her masterpieces.
Hey, you know what? I missed those two. I'm gonna go watch them right now. Well, because I'm a Denis fan, and those are blind spots.
So you can try Mubi free for 30 days, 30 whole days.
30.
Mubi.com/check. That's MUBI.com/check. You can get a whole month of great cinema for free.
Check as in you got to check Mubi every day.
Oh, man. They have the whole Arabian Nights trilogy up right now.
Oh, that's another thing.
Miguel Gomez. I know. Exactly. And I've got 10 days.
Right. And they're cheaper by the dozen, too.
This is a really great offer, guys.
It is.
Please.
And it's a great company.
It's a great company. We really like having them as a sponsor. So support the show and try out Mubi.
And look, it doesn't get more passionate than the plea you just heard from Ben.
I'm very serious now.
Ben's serious now. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'd like to say something.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Eddie Marsan cast as Ariel in Little Mermaid? I'm just getting a bunch of Disney news breaks right now.
Mike Lee to direct the Aristocats? Oh Jesus! Like, what's one of your truly fucking depraved
ones?
What's
bug nuts?
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know.
What's the clip that your original KB video ends with? The military clip that's all the old
Oh,
men march.
it's from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I just thought it'd be funny. Like, I don't know any of those actors individually,
Sure.
but I was like,
David
this is a
Tomlinson.
good
I
one.
mean, he's a
David
kid.
Tomlinson is up there. He's great.
Yeah.
He's fucking great.
Who, if you remade Bedknobs and Broomsticks, who would your Tomlinson be?
I would resurrect him from the grave.
It'd be like Paul Sparks or someone where you're
No,
like,
no,
I guess
no.
I know who that is.
I
And
love
Karen's
Paul
like
Sparks,
one
but-
of the 5 best actors alive.
It's
Right,
true. He is.
right,
He's
right,
great.
right.
I would give Jeff Nichols Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yes. Right.
I don't know. Like Paul Sparks is too innately scary. I feel like he doesn't have
medicine
enough
man.
charming energy.
I feel like that's true of 80% of Karen's boys.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a little bit of scary. I mean, the Hugo Weavings of the world.
I was just
and
about to say, what if I cast Hugo Weaving in the Bedknobs and Broomsticks movie?
Have I
Anyway.
told you? I told Karen this, but on set when we were filming season 2, I showed Brendan Hines, who plays Superior, because he was telling me, I think I can say this. When we were filming,
Yes.
he was subletting his apartment to Ben Mendelsohn.
Wow.
So then
All
we
right.
were like nerding out on Mendelsohn.
In LA, like, because he lives in LA.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was here for filming.
Mhm.
Mendelsohn was staying at his apartment.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, that guy's the fucking best. And he was like this and that. And I was like,
Right.
I got this friend who, like, Ben Mendelsohn is like her Brad Pitt.
Right,
Like,
right.
he's like the apex. And then he was like, who's this friend? So I showed him the KB video.
Uh-huh.
And then Brendan got very insecure about the fact that he might be too conventionally handsome to be a KB.
But like that's his lane, isn't it? It's like he's the guy who can play your Superman type, right? Like,
right. And he
yeah.
was like, I could be like one of these guys, though, right?
Probably could. He's getting older. He probably could.
He's got salt and pepper.
Exactly.
I just think he wants to move towards that.
Mm-hmm.
But then he kept on sending me like follow-up texts about like, what about this person? Like, this,
Really?
Like, yeah,
Do they count? Right.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
That's really funny.
He has a lot of follow-up
That's
questions.
the sweetest thing I've ever
I
heard.
was very into it. Yeah,
That's extremely sweet.
but I would kind of qualify, right? Like,
Yeah, in this house, we love and appreciate
hey,
Brendan Hines.
Sure, he's a good one.
he's
Yeah,
a great
he's great.
one. He's a great one. Doesn't listen to this show.
Why
Good.
not? What an asshole!
I
I
know.
hate him. I've turned.
I hope he started listening to the show on this episode.
That'd be great. That would be really funny.
Yeah, I like
maybe he was a big
screamed when
Dumbo
you told
boy.
me that story.
Right. Karen said, tell him I love him on the middleman. I said, I could have auto-predictive text guessed
Fucking love the middleman.
your response.
Yeah.
Middleman rules.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Um,
What
I know-
other things we
I know
want to talk
Natalie.
about? I'm sorry, what?
I know her a little bit. We should get her on.
Who are we talking
Yeah,
about?
Natalie Morales? Yeah.
Mhm.
Can we talk about those bad elephant boys?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
No good.
You
No.
tweeted that sans context, and people were very confused.
I know, and I
Tell me
stand by
who
the
you're
lack of
talking
context.
about.
We were
You
discussing
mean
this
like
prior to you guys
the
arriving because
mean
I was
elephant man.
on time.
Who gets stomped to death.
It's fair. I
he
was
deserved it. He
delayed
deserved
for
it.
reasons
I like
that are under
The
embargo.
value being expressed in this movie is if you're mean to animals, you deserve to die.
Yeah, he dies.
And he got what he deserved.
He's dead.
There's like a strangely high number of deaths in this movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
always like in extremely unpleasant ways.
Also true.
Yeah.
Two true things.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
He shouldn't have been mean to Dumbo, I
He
agree.
shouldn't
Or Mama Jumbo. Or
Yeah.
whatever, Mrs. Jumbo.
Mrs. Jumbo.
Right. I mean,
Uh,
Michael Phillips was talking about how this movie has the like challenge of trying to make, even though they said it even earlier than the original film,
Right.
Yeah.
like making this film in a modern era where like every circus has shut down.
yeah.
And the circus
Right.
that still exists are like, yeah, we're done with animal stuff. Everyone hates that.
Yeah. And it's like innately cruel. Like
Yeah.
there's
Right.
no way to avoid the cruelty.
Right. And like Dumbo is innately sort of a story about animal cruelty.
Yeah, and it has this ending where they're like, "We're
The
a cruelty-free circus,"
is
and you're like,
insanity.
"Oh, all right."
Kind of comes out of
Are ya?
no. It becomes
Yeah.
him doing like a used car salesman pitch straight
Yeah.
to camera.
Yeah,
Yeah. he-
About how
yeah.
they like don't fuck with cruelty anymore.
I
Right.
think that's good though for kids.
Me too.
think it's
I
good.
got no
I'm
beef with
for
it. It's
it.
not really layered in that hard,
No.
but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
and I like Dumbo going back to Asia and flying amongst the
I
elephants.
mean, I love
that made me cry. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
It was
made me
really
cry.
sweet, but it was
Yeah.
also kind of like, what?
right. I was afraid that Mowgli was gonna show up.
Oh my God.
I know the timelines don't totally match,
Right.
But I was afraid that because it looked like they just took the assets from Jungle Book.
Yeah.
maybe that's just what they did.
Very possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does look like that.
Yeah.
God,
The ending is weird.
at least Jungle
How did
Book
they
is
get
green.
the elephants back there? Who had the money to do
Wait,
that?
you're looking for plausibility?
The guy had his friend, and they were taking him back to Calcutta or something. They said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I like that. I know we haven't really gone through the plot that much.
Maybe there's like an electrified circus city in this.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, I love all that. The second you
Dreamworld
get into
is
like
good.
Dreamworld's great.
Right,
What do
and
we
the-
think of the pink elephant sequence?
Bad.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
Weird.
Oh, I kind of
I
like
kind of like that because I like that it's just Dumbo going like,
I weird. That was so
No,
weird.
I fucking love the cutbacks to Dumbo's face where he's just sort of watching
and I'm like, is this
nodding.
going somewhere? In the
That's
end,
it.
it's like,
Yeah.
no. Just a weird thing that happens at Dreamland. No, you like Dreamland or
Dumbo's such a
World.
good kid.
He's a good
He's
kid.
such
He's a
a
good kid. He's a
sweetie.
good kid.
He's a
He's a
good
man.
kid.
He's a good
mensch.
kid.
He's a
Yeah,
really good
he's
kid.
good.
Jesus. But here's the other thing we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Arkin.
Okay.
We got to talk about Arkin.
Okay.
We got to. This is the
I'm
first
the
Arkin.
banker.
You
gotta get money for me.
Burton collaboration since Edward Scissorhands, right? There's
Right.
no
Right. For which he won the Nobel Prize.
correctly.
The
And in
only
this
Nobel
movie-
Prize given out for Best Supporting Actor.
Right, and in this movie, the daughter wins the Nobel Prize for chemistry.
Right.
Oh
She's a
my
chemist.
God.
Right.
No,
Want to see that elephant fly?
he comes
Oh, this
in.
is a disaster.
He comes in, and we have the presumption that Michael Keaton is the money.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he comes into the movie late, and you're like, oh, here's Alan Arkin,
Yeah.
Oscar winner. We know
Right.
him.
Yep.
Right.
And he's like, I'm bankrolling this, and you're like, he is. What, does the circus not make money? Like, why do we
Yeah.
need this character?
Yeah.
He serves no purpose
No.
except to say this is a disaster.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a monotone.
You got no act.
Right.
It's not a flying elephant. He's an escape artist.
It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
terrible.
love
but-
every second of it.
Yeah.
It is terrible. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean?
Three
Yeah.
wrinkly gray boys.
It's
Yeah, it's my
one
ideal
of those
movie.
performances where I'm like, if someone was like, yes, but don't you see that on paper? Like, he's not giving any effort. He's not reading. I'd be like, yeah, no, I understand. I think he's very good. Yeah, it's
Alan
like-
Arkin falls into that Tommy Lee Jones category.
Sure.
Where if he hates the movie,
even if he's hostile to the movie,
it's still a great performance
Right.
because you want him to be hostile.
Exactly.
And in the
Yeah.
same way, Alan Arkin always seems above it and over
Yeah.
the thing he's doing.
Right.
So either he's locked in, he's doing it well, or he doesn't like the script.
Right.
And
Yep.
he is doing it well.
What is Tommy Lee up to right now?
Well, he's going to be an Ad Astra if it ever fucking comes out, in which he went to Neptune and
Yes,
Brad Pitt
you're
has
right.
to go get him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
aka the perfect movie plot.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right.
Like, that is the perfect
God,
movie plot.
Ad Astra's
Yes.
gonna fucking rule.
Or
it's
it
gonna-
will not come out.
I think it's going to be so good.
No, it's gonna come out eventually. But
One hopes.
yeah, James Gray.
I love him. The only other thing that he is in coming up is something called Arctic Justice: Thunder Squad.
Wait a second.
Click through.
Wait a second.
Explain.
I just got a news flash on Deadline. Disney announces Tommy Lee Jones to play Bambi,
You're welcome.
directed by the Dardenne brothers.
I mean, the Dardenne brothers would handle the lessons of Bambi.
Yeah,
Which
most
is that
definitely.
the world is cruel.
Right. It's
And man is evil.
right. It's Dumbo going from tree stump to tree stump,
Yeah.
begging people to not kill his.
Oh my god. Just in full Tommy Lee voice.
Arctic Jungle.
Don't do it.
Arctic Justice Thunder
Please.
Squad is an animated film starring Jeremy Renner as an Arctic fox called
I
Swifty.
vault. No, stop reading. I'm
Tommy
done.
Lee Jones
no,
appears-
stop.
is
Stop.
playing. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I don't.
I
I'm
can look up
sorry.
what he's playing.
I overruled. Must demand more.
Okay, Tommy Lee Jones is credited as playing, and I want to double check this because Wikipedia can be a little. He's not on IMDb.
Is this like a weird independently
Wikipedia had-
financed
yes.
by like a Russian animation?
Yes, and it's
Right.
being
It's a
distributed
Norm
by
of the North.
Entertainment Studios.
Oh, it's called Arctic
Justice
Justice.
Thunder Squad.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna look it up more so you don't have to listen to David say it out loud because I see it's physically hurting you.
Yeah, it's-
that's
it's
all
bad.
true. Okay, so we're done with Dumbo. Is that it? We agree that it's insane and it's
It's
about how
good.
capitalism overruns any sort of unique product until it spoils it and requires a cleansing
There's
fire.
just like just
Yeah.
a massive irony that it's a Disney movie and that this is the message, and yet it's like at war with itself. Like half of it is this like anti-capitalist message, and
Sure.
the other half is like, here's every other Disney movie you've seen, just sort of put in a blender.
Well, and that scene where like Michael Keaton is like trying to sell DeVito out in like the
Yeah.
fields,
Yeah,
right?
That's so good.
Right, and he's doing the like, look, I can give you everything.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's the argument that agents make when they try to convince their like artists to sign
Yeah.
up for a $200 million temple. It's like, you're going to get such a big canvas to play with.
You do this, right, you have all the money in the world, and then the next thing you do can be whatever you want.
One
it definitely
for them,
won't be
one
Dumbo
for you.
2. Right.
And then the answer is they, like, don't put out the net, you know?
Oh,
Like, it's
great
like,
scene.
right, they give
that is
you
a good
everything,
scene.
but, like, that's one of the scenes. I mean, there are the couple things, like, that scene is great. The first sort of tour of Dreamland or Dreamworld or Underland or whatever it's called, where you see like the weird sort of like Forbidden Planet space station with all the levers, where they're all wearing their matching uniforms.
I will say it's interesting that Dumbo does the futter whacking in this movie.
It is.
Stop it right now.
Yeah, it is a little weird. But all that stuff, like the weird, like mechanical, like it feels like some like communist factory line, you know, like it feels like Metropolis or something.
Yeah,
where they're all like in these towers or like in these
Moloch,
right, with these like adding machines, and they're all wearing these like silver jumpsuits. Like you understand like the scariness to Tim Burton of these like corporate behemoths who are like, we love wonder.
Right.
But the guy saying it is like, oh, you know, we love wonder around here. Now sit in your fucking box and come up with some weird shit. You know, it's like he's finally maybe starting to figure out where he kind of got lost in the woods.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We have done this miniseries wildly out of order for a number of reasons. One is because it took 5 fucking months. And we had certain guests available at certain times and this and that and what have you.
All true.
Right?
All true.
And so people have been saying, I feel like they haven't come up with as clean an arc for this guy.
Sure.
You know? And I'm waiting for like the real sort of hypothesis,
Here comes
the real
Dumbo.
theory, right, that pulls it all together. And Dumbo does start to bring the thing into sort of focus a little bit. But I will admit, the reason why I've been pushing for Burton for so long, and your resistance was, is it going to be like 10 great movies and then 10 weeks of you trying.
Of you being like, well, there's something here. And me being like, is there?
Right.
Like, you know.
Right. And my hope was if we watch them all and we do them all in order,
Sure.
I'm going to figure out how to crystallize the thing. I'm going to either figure out conclusively what went wrong, or I'm going to be able to figure out an argument for why he never went wrong and all the stuff is still good.
Oof.
And I feel like I couldn't do either.
I don't think that us doing it out of order is the only culprit.
No,
there,
I'm just
though.
saying that's
I mean,
that's
the last
an
batch is
element.
just sort of a mess,
Right.
you know?
That's an element.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of things that people have said online, and there's so many takes that are so good, like in our Reddit community.
They're good boys.
And someone's
Blank
saying,
is
like,
right, it's good.
I think a big problem with Burton is like the death of screenwriting standards in the studio system.
Right.
That when
Oh,
these things
boy,
are
yeah.
so prepackaged and pre-sold, and you have people who go like, you don't understand, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens in the fucking thing.
Right.
I just need 5 images to sell in a trailer. For a guy who admittedly is like, I don't have the best innate story sense.
Sure.
He's probably better when he's teamed with a really strong writer and really strong producers who like hold his feet to the fire. And when a guy like this becomes this powerful and becomes this big of a brand name, and they just go, we can sell it off of you, then no one's really testing him. And it's like the prison of choice.
Yeah.
Where if he's allowed to do anything, the technology exists for him to do anything, no one's noting his scripts, it actually becomes somewhat of a hindrance, which is sort of the Dumbo, look, you got everything, but now there's no net.
Yeah.
And you have a really, really high height to fall from, right? There's that kind of thing. We've tried to psychoanalyze him a bunch of times. It's hard.
He's pretty opaque.
Right, it's
in a lot of
hard.
ways.
But in this movie,
About his own life.
I do get the sense of him going like, look, I genuinely have no fucking idea. And the thing that really clicked for me in this whole miniseries was rewatching Ed Wood, a movie for the fucking 25th time. It's
Great
one of my
movie.
5 favorite movies
It's a great
ever.
movie.
Yes.
For the first time, I saw it as autobiography, not as a movie about the types of movies he loves,
Right.
but a movie of him just saying like, I have no idea why I'm successful and this guy wasn't.
Yeah.
And I do think, there's a degree, I mean, Ben saying like, I want this guy spaced. There's no saving him. It's
Right.
just like sometimes people just kind of they line up with a pocket in culture,
Sure.
right? The technology's in the right place and the culture's in the right place, and they get to verbalize something before anyone else does, and somehow it connects, and they get their Dumbo run where you get to like fly around like a weird big-eared elephant, right? And those things kind of can't last. There are certain people we've talked about, people like M. Night, who went like very pointedly astray
Yeah.
and then was able to analyze what he was doing wrong and course correct.
Right.
And Burton's kind of a guy who's just like, give me a feather, I'm going to try something.
Right.
Who doesn't have that level of introspection.
I like the feather.
I love the feather.
He doesn't need it though.
No.
He can fly good without it.
Right.
He's
so,
a good boy.
I don't know if there's a
You
set.
just love
He's a
Dumbo.
good elephant boy.
Well, we all love Dumbo.
I don't know if there's a set answer. If it's like, oh, he needs to do original material, or he needs to do things that are this or this budget level, or in this genre, or whatever it is. But it does feel like, for the first time watching this movie, I'm like, this is kind of a new in, because I'm just an outsider, innocent, in a world that doesn't get me movies, feel less and less sincere coming from him.
Right.
But the movies where he can start to explain how the system takes advantage
might be interesting.
Not the fear of the outsider.
No. I get what you're saying.
But the commodification feels like this is a way that he could evolve.
But the fear is this movie's not doing well.
Right.
Is he going to retreat in some way?
Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe he won't get to make a movie this big for a while. That might be good for him.
Because he's certainly a reactive filmmaker. He feels like a guy who takes his losses hard.
Yeah.
Especially in a way that makes sense for someone who had so much success out of the gate.
Yeah.
He's not really accustomed to dealing with rejection.
Sure.
And so when he does in any way, he just sort of like folds into himself.
Right.
But I remember, a big thing that this podcast comes out of, and the whole blank check term, which is something my dad used to use all the time when someone had a big success. And he'd be
your
like,
dad named this podcast like inadvertently.
Right, right. James pitched it because he knew that was the term that we both knew. My dad using it, just like, man, that guy's going to have a real blank check on his next movie. And my dad would always say, especially with people I loved, he'd be like, I think that guy's just lost the plot. And I would always get so angry because I'd be like, that's impossible. Someone who is capable of making something this good can't lose the plot. We have to, much like Nico Parker, I was the little kid being like, we have to use science to break down what went wrong here and explain it.
You're explaining the origins of this podcast, years before it happened.
Right. And I wanted to fucking do that equation on Tim Burton. Because
you're saying
Burton,
you haven't quite really gotten there.
He's kind of the ex I'll never get over.
Aww.
Every single time a new trailer comes out, no matter how many times I've been burned, I'd be like, but what if it's like... What if it's like the old times again?
Whereas I was fully over Tim Burton.
Right.
And when Dumbo came out and I saw it, I liked it, I was like, is it just because I've been steeped in Burton for 5 months? Is that part of it? I don't know. Is it because he put my boyfriend in the movie? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. But anytime I would ask these bigger questions and my dad would be like, you're overthinking it, Griff.
Sure.
I'd be like, cool. I need to find friends like David Sims.
Overthinking it, you say. Could we monetize that?
Right. Then make a podcast about
it.
And I did, my foolish hope was that I'd come to something here. Whether it was I'm totally out on this guy or I totally have saved him, that I would have some sort of sense of peace. And the answer is, sometimes people kind of lose the plot. Sometimes they can get it back. Sometimes it's inexplicable how it happens or why it happens.
Right.
Well, I think just the culture changed.
Yeah.
And he didn't change with it.
Yeah.
No, and that's just how stuff happens.
Right.
Sure.
And that's kind of the beauty of the thing is it's it doesn't make sense that he hit as hard as he did.
Sure.
And just as inexplicably, he came out of sync.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
He had a pocket where for 10 years, it was just he was in there. And everyone got it, and he was totally unique. And the fact that he was doing all of that at such a high budget level with such sort of mainstream films was nuts.
Do you have your list?
I can do it very quickly.
Okay. Because I've got mine. We got to do them.
Okay.
They rank.
Yeah.
It's time to rank. Sometimes we protect, but sometimes we rank. Karen's laughing. She shouldn't be. Wasn't funny.
Wasn't funny.
My standards are low. It's okay.
Okay, I'm doing it now, and hopefully I'm not forgetting any. So do yours with some drum.
My filler Dumbo note
Please.
is that the Arcade Fire song is good. I couldn't even get through that sentence, but I do believe it. It's good.
It is good. I agree. I like that.
I'll be right back.
Goodbye.
Wow.
Hey, Blank Check listeners, I'm Adam Kempenar.
And I'm Josh Larson.
We're the hosts of Film Spotting.
Which is basically Blank Check, except in Chicago.
That's not true.
We both talk about movies.
Sure, but we're not very funny.
But the movie thing.
That's the same. Also, long shows.
In-depth reviews and interviews.
Right. Ethan Hawke, Paul Schrader, and Bo Burnham were all on last year, plus top 5 lists and other stuff every Friday since 2005.
Ryan Johnson said that nice thing about us once.
A force for good in the universe.
He probably regrets saying that.
Too late. We're keeping it. Film Spotting, wherever you get your podcasts.
Have a good show, Griffin and David.
Are you ready for my top 19 Tim Burton movies?
It's 19 in total?
Correct.
Wow, what a run it's been.
What a run it has
So
been.
glad to be here with you at the end of this marathon.
I'm going to go 1 to 19.
Okay.
All right? 1, Ed Wood. 2, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
3, Batman Return.
Mm-hmm.
4, Edward Scissorhand.
Mm-hmm.
5, Pee-wee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's 5.
Okay.
6, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
7, Sleepy Hollow. 8, Mars Attack.
Mm-hmm.
9, Big Fish.
Mm-hmm.
10, Dumbo.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. 11, Sweeney. 12, Big Eye.
Mm-hmm.
13, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
14, Frank and Weenie.
Mm-hmm.
15, Miss Peregrini. 16, Corpse Bride. 17, Dark Shadows. 18, Planet of the Apes. 19, blank. 20, blank. Keep going. 1 million. Alice in Wonderland. That thing is the worst thing.
It's not good.
What's your favorite Burton, Karen?
Gosh.
I just named them all.
I know. They pass through my mind like water through a sieve.
Wow.
What was your number? Your number was Edward. I really like Big Fish.
Big Fish. The
Yeah.
fish are big.
But also, I might have to. I mean, I feel like it's the easy answer, but like Batman Returns fucking rules.
Batman Returns is a good choice.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know. I think that Griffin's favorite is Ed Wood,
Mm-hmm.
but after that, I'm not sure. He's struggling?
Well, give me a second.
I'll do mine.
Please.
Beetlejuice.
Oh shit.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
No, say it
No!
again! Oh my god!
Oh, sorry.
That was close. Phew!
Okay, but yeah, that's the only movie that.
Are you
I'm
guys gonna go see the
acknowledge
musical?
Moving
No.
forward?
Yeah, I've heard it's.
No, thank you.
I've heard it's no thank you.
Yes. No, thank you. We were thinking about doing it for the podcast, then we realized, like, most people won't be able to see it anyway, and who fucking cares, and it's not
Yeah.
even supposed to be that good. So we didn't do that. Instead, we went to a Nets game.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a pretty good trade off.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm forgetting one. Hold on.
Beetlejuice is
Hold
so
on.
fucking
Oh,
good, though.
Yes,
no.
it is.
Okay, it's one I like. And
Michael Keaton truly in command of all his power.
You're absolutely, that's right.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin, hottest
Yeah.
bitch in the game.
Okay, ready for my ranking?
Let's do it.
I think this is correct. I think you're going to be surprised with a couple placements.
Sure.
Number 1, Ed Wood.
Yep.
One of my top 5ers. I mean, it was locked. Number 2, Batman Returns.
Sure.
Mm.
That was a close number 2 for me.
Yeah.
It was 3 for me, but could have been 2.
Number 3, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where it's just like those 3 films.
Right. Those are my top 3 too.
It's just that's a perfect statement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like
Keep going though.
Okay.
I'm just saying we got 16 more movies.
Number 4, Mars Attacks.
4?
Mm-hmm, my friend.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fine. Whatever.
I love that movie, as you know.
I love it too.
Number 5, Edward Scissorhands.
Sure.
Number 6, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Okay.
Those 2 are close for me.
Me too.
I
They were
could
my
kind of
4 and
flip
5.
them.
Right.
Number 7, A Big Fish.
Sure.
Yeah.
You like that a little more than me.
It pays out like a slot machine.
This list is paying out like a slot.
Albert Finney.
Number 8, Bartman.
Sure. Yeah. Before he returned.
Number 9, making it into that 10.
I know what this is.
Big Eyes.
Yeah. Mm.
A good movie
You
that I
nuts
wish
for this
our
one.
original guest hadn't bailed out of
'Cause she
because they
likes
were
it too.
going to take my side.
Whatever,
And
man.
instead, the episode ended up being a classic example of cyberbullying.
Was it? I feel like it was just you talking about how good Big Eyes was, and then me and the guest being like, I guess so. We don't really like it. Like, we weren't like, Griffin, you're crazy.
I watched it with my girlfriend. She had not seen it before, TC-14. She was like, this is a masterpiece. I was like, yes, thank you. Can't wait to go into the studio and have Ben and
said it was-
David and Rylaws eat some fucking crow. And I got in here and you cyberbullied me.
I think we just didn't agree with you.
Cyberbullied me.
Are you gamergating right now?
Gamers rise up. Griffin rise up for Big Eyes.
All right, number 10.
Sweeney.
Sweeney.
I still can't believe you guys got Michael Cerveris. That's the most amazing get I've heard in my entire fucking
Good
life.
guess.
Mhm.
He is a good man.
Good actor.
Yeah.
Good man.
What if we have him do the Ant-Man and the Wasp commentary
We should.
with us?
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I'll ask him.
Sure.
I will say, much like Edward Scissorhands, an uncommonly gentle man.
Absolutely.
He's a very
A lovely-
relaxing
lovely
man.
Yes.
Yeah.
His
Great.
temperament is incredible.
Fully agree.
So, of course, number 11 on my list is the existence of Michael Cerveris as a person. No, Sweeney was my 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Sleepy Hollow is my 11.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to say that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is my 12.
I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Dumbo is my 13.
Sure.
Okay, so now we're getting to the territory where it's like, this is like,
we're splitting hairs. Right.
These are getting dodgier. The next three, I'm like, yeah. Dark Shadows is like kind of like a bridge to like, it's a mess. There's stuff I like in it a lot. Then we go to like Corpse Bride and Frankenweenie, and I'm like, little lifeless.
Right. Should I just never revisit Corpse Bride? Because I really liked it when I first saw it.
I think it's fine. I think it's cute. It's so slight.
It's very slight.
It's very, very slight.
It's a little metatarsal of a movie.
Yes.
She's correct. Karen extended her fingers, her fingies.
Right. And now we get to the only three that like drive me crazy. And they are Peregrine.
Sure.
Which I still contend would be sort of in Dark Shadows territory if it had a performer who was awake in the lead role.
I put that above Dark Shadows, but sure, go on.
I think Dark Shadows has some comedic energy to it and some good performances.
Good Jackie Earle Haley.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes, which, I mean, this was a real race to the bottom. I'm giving Planet of the Apes the slight edge over Alice in Wonderland because the makeup is so good.
Yeah, right.
You got to give it the edge just for old practical movie magic on that front.
Right. Yeah.
And Giamatti selling aspirin.
Giamatti.
Sure.
I'm the Rhino.
We're fairly similar, other than me putting a couple of the later ones
Mars
a little higher.
Yeah. I had Dumbo a little higher. I have Sleepy Hollow a lot higher than you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I like Sleepy a lot.
It's fucking great.
I just want to show some
Walken.
respect for those eyes.
I'm so glad that you found your person. Griffin.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Because I watched that with TC13 or whoever it is I'm supposed to be dating. And she was like, this is boring.
This reference system?
Oh, boy. Should we get into this?
I don't think explaining this can do us any
Okay,
good.
sure.
Right. Yeah.
It's a character from Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Oh,
TC14.
the lady droid.
Yeah,
got it.
I said he wants the...
What? Come on, please. It's 2019.
Times have changed, sweetie. Times have changed.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
I went to WonderCon recently.
You did.
We were there
That's
promoting
right.
the tick.
In California.
I did for under $5 each find a classic TC14 action figure.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Still
I
in the
saw
package
that.
with the Comtech chip, and I found a really nice Smiths.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now there were two Smiths. I saw the back of your phone case. One cost $20.
Sure.
Because he came with little Leia in a bundle.
Aww.
Oh my god.
And the other one was only $5.
Sure.
But he's got a big cloth cape.
Oh, I love a cloth.
And because he's little, the cape's like too big, like it's like swallowing.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What do you do? Do you take them out or do you keep them in their box?
I usually take them out.
Yeah.
But I've been kind of thinking about...
Oh, there's a little Imperial Guard right here.
This is Ben's Red Boy.
Yeah.
It's my Red Boy.
I'm a taker-outer.
Yeah.
I will say with these...
We're talking in the tub?
Gotta put them in the tub. You gotta put them in the tub.
Right.
My tub, barely room for water. Too many figures.
Honestly,
what an image.
Taking a fig bag.
If you've been considering stand-up material,
right.
That's a great opener.
Do you take a lot of sponge baths?
I sponge myself down with Orco.
Yeah.
I lather with snake eyes.
Wow. Glad Burton's over.
Yeah, but
so long and farewell, my friend.
What I was going to say is,
yes,
I've sort of been forming a collection that I've been keeping in package of specifically our like Star Wars friends, like the characters that were the characters that really became big for us through doing those episodes.
The prequels, yeah.
Because I like having a little. It doesn't feel like part of my collection. It feels like a little like History of Blank Check shrine with our old Revenge of the Podcast poster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I want a Graga around that. I have my bigger TC14. I want a Watto, and it's like that's sort of my group.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
It reminds us. It reminds me of how far we've come.
We've come so far, and Gragra has been with us the whole time.
I had a dream last night about finding a Gragra.
Does such a thing exist apart from as part of that like Jar Jar thing?
No, it does. And I had for some reason the three of us were in a Walmart, and you were like, Griffin, we got to go. And I was like, I think I found a Gragra.
Oh my god, I've never been to a Walmart.
Ever?
No, because they're not in the city. So
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, and you're a city boy who's lived in the city your entire life.
Right. And they're
New York
not
City,
in
the one
Britain.
Well, that's irrelevant, though. You're saying just as a place that you would vacation.
Yeah.
I also live there.
Scoozy?
What?
Scusi.
No, sorry, hold on. I was distracted. What are we talking about?
I'm from London, mate.
What?
Sweetie.
What?
There's no place like it.
Wait a second. Ben, check your chair.
Okay.
Is there a weird lever or a series of gears?
I had a shave.
Oh, no.
I want you bleeders.
It's the demon podcaster of Midtown.
Oh, boy.
I was in college.
Who did you play?
Joanna. Fucking baker lady. Forgot her name for a second here. Angela Lansbury.
No, I did vocal director.
Okay.
And whatever random shit they needed.
Okay, you did ensemble, swing,
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of ensemble business.
I taught everyone their music because nobody could read music.
You're big into music. Did you perform a lot in the musicals, or did you more often
you did
do
a cappella,
that?
right? You were an a cappella.
Why would you dox me like
I'm
this?
sorry. I'm not doxing you. I
No, it's true. I did.
I'm not doxing like the name of your group or anything. I just remember that
not
you
hard.
did that. Right.
Yeah, I did a cappella in college. I did musical
Karen and
theater
the
in
Hans.
college. Yeah. That's the name of my.
Yeah.
What's the other thing you did?
Where did you sit?
Musical
Were you
theater.
alto, tenor? Where did you fall?
I can do whatever. I mean, like, I didn't do it seriously enough that I ever had to think about it that hard.
Okay.
I like doing it, but that was it. I trained in classical piano, so
Oh.
that was my background.
One of my favorite bits you do is when you go, look at how hard this song slaps, and then you post a screenshot of sheet music.
Yeah.
What was the Sinatra song?
Oh yeah.
Karen,
Well,
tell me.
You're like,
shoot.
look at this fucking
No,
thing.
this is like a thing that Karen
I
woke
think
me
it-
up with one morning.
It was in the group
In the
chat.
group
I wrote.
chat,
I don't
yeah.
remember what song it was, but I
It was
literally.
literally like New York. Like it was certainly.
No, you're right, yeah.
I think it was It was a very famous song.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a deep
No,
cut.
it wasn't.
And she said, "Do you want to say it or should I?"
I'll say it. I said, no, you say it.
Well, I believe you posted
I did.
a link to the song.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, "I'm listening to this. You just don't get horns like that anymore."
Yep.
Something like that,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
And
we
everybody
were like-
got very mad.
We were just like, New York. you mean like start spreading the new like that song?
You just don't
Yeah.
get horns like that.
It's
anymore.
good, sure. Like, I mean, it's sort of like the Star Spangled Banner. Someone was like, "What a great song," and I'm like, "I guess so." I certainly heard it a lot.
Okay, no, but I maintain that I am right. Brass is not a huge component of most modern music.
This is true. You're right. Bands sort of eschewed the brass.
But we should go back. You don't get brass like that anymore, but we should. It's great when you do.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
agree.
also like when the like orchestral scores, they go back to being like the 60 whatever piece orchestra. It's the best.
Oh,
Of
totally.
course, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
You don't get brass like that anymore.
You don't. That's why
You
my
don't
boy
get-
Mikey G, Jack and O, he knows what's up.
Let's just briefly mention Danny Elfman's score does not register in this
No,
movie.
not
Not
even
really.
remotely.
All his
I
other
don't really
regulars are doing
remember it.
great work.
Yeah, Colleen's doing amazing
Guy
work.
Hendricks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I should listen to it on
I
the
can't
way
remember
out of
a
here.
note.
I don't either.
Aaron Kruger, the writer of a Transformers sequel, wrote this movie.
I think 3
Yeah,
Transformers
at least
sequels?
3.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the good ones, though, I think, and then 2 of the bad ones.
Yeah.
Good one.
We'll get to that.
Dark in the Moon. Oh, do you want to say Winky Winky?
No, because we're not actually
Right,
promising.
that's not really on the agenda
I just
this year.
You heard it here
We
first.
should though say what is happening next week.
No, we say that next week. Oh, right.
Oh!
What specific thing we're doing next week?
Yes.
Right. Next week we will talk about the future of the podcast, the next couple of mini series we're doing.
We're going to announce 2 at the end of that episode.
That's
How's that?
Gore
for-
Verbinski twice.
Double goal.
Backwards and forwards, Cloud Atlas style. The Cure for Wellness episodes will abut each other. No, that's
My
not what
time
we're
has
doing.
come.
Your time was now.
I feel really
My
bad
true day in the sun.
I know.
for kind of killing Gore this year.
I will
You
hold
felt
this
such
against you
guilt because
forever.
you had that one tweet
Yeah.
and the change was really dramatic.
Yeah.
And then you tweeted like 8 more times. We were like, look,
Didn't work.
Gore's got a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know, like you felt really, but it was
He never recovered from that.
Demi
hit.
was the one who swang Demi. Demi swang
Oh.
Demi. Did you see that?
Yes.
You know, when he
Yeah.
like retweeted the whole like, yeah, I'll come on the pod.
Yeah. Which he will do.
Yeah, of course. He's in the spreadsheet. You should see some of the people in the spreadsheet. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We got some good ones lined. I know we always say that, but it gets exciting the more we go on.
Well, especially since we've done so much Burton, it's like, oh yeah, right, new shit.
Yeah.
Right,
a bunch of Demi Blu-rays arrived at my house today.
Nice.
A lot of people were like, I don't want to do a Burton. Get back to me in 5 months. You know, we've had certain people who have been like hovering on the guest list for half a year.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We got some big ones though.
But before that, we got 2 other miniseries, and before that, we have a Ben's Choice, Benjamin J. Hosley. Yeah. I don't know if your middle name is J.
It's McCormick.
Right. Benjamin M. Hosley.
We hadn't done a proper Ben's Choice in a while.
It's been a long time, and I've always been promising King Ralph. Now, we'll eventually get to King Ralph.
A Ben Porch classic.
Yeah.
Part of the Ben Porch Classics gold label.
Is like weird movies I just had on VHS and just watched religiously.
Yeah.
But I decided to switch things up because I stan... And I stan...
What do you stan, Ben?
How are you going to say
let,
this?
Let him get it out.
I stan the stealing boys and girls.
The Stealing Boys?
What? Wait, hold on. Oh, right.
What?
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah.
I fucked up.
Yeah, you did.
I forgot that I thought they were robbers too in my mind. But okay.
I mean, they got to get that apple.
They rob people of their lives.
Yes.
That is true.
Let's cut back.
The greatest robbery.
Shut up.
Exactly.
Shut up. We'll cut back to like when I took a long pause.
Grand Theft Mortality.
All right, go ahead. You stand for what?
Assassin's Creed.
Cool. And then keep in all the earlier stuff.
No.
Justin Kurzel's Assassin's Creed. That's what you
I
select.
love that movie, Karen. It's good.
He's seen it 20 times?
Yeah, I watch it all the time.
He watches it when he can't fall asleep.
Karen has a look of genuine surprise on her face.
Yeah, Karen is
I've never played the video game, but those sequences are great.
No affinity for the game.
I don't know anything
I've
about
played
it.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
No, I'm saying Ben has There's no element of like,
it's
I'm
just the movie.
So excited to see this realized on the big screen.
I barely remember how that episode went, but I think it's weird.
It's super weird.
It's super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird movie.
Yeah, but
I own it in 4K.
Oh my god.
It's good. I like it. It's a good movie.
Next week, Assassin's Creed. At the end of that episode, we're announcing the next 2 miniseries.
That's right, mates.
Why are you doing that voice?
Times has changed.
Sing it.
I'm singing it.
Did you ever do musical theater?
No, I can't sing. I'm not a good singer.
I mean,
I did play theater.
A couple of your most recent sentences would beg to disagree.
Times is hard.
And do your Beast impression again.
I'm the Beast. It's terrible. Nobody likes me.
Do you remember how at the end of that movie, Stanley Tucci, who was playing a piano, attacks all the robbers by spitting out his keys,
right.
and then the very last shot of the movie is a zero in on him, and he smiles and you see all his fake teeth, and that's the last shot of the movie.
Probably the best shot of the movie, too.
Well,
It ended on a high,
yes.
exactly.
And then they play an in memoriam reel for everyone who was in it.
Is there not a bit in that movie when all the household items start coming to life that the toilet talks and tells someone not to piss in it? Am I imagining that?
You might be, but I wouldn't be surprised if that were true.
Or like a bedpan or something, a chamber pot. I feel like there's some human waste receptacle gag where it's just, don't you dare.
Oh, boy.
You know, and Eileen Atkins plays the fucking...
This is how it ties into fucking Toy Story 4. It's like, what should be granted life?
Yep. And here's my question, my final question I want to ask you, Karen, for the episode.
Yes.
Now that we've come full circle.
Okay.
Is Lumiere the ultimate KB? Because he is the man who literally is a melting candle.
Yeah.
Lumiere's kind of got some...
as played by Orbach, though.
Oh, yes.
Not McGregor.
That's some real KB energy.
Yeah, he's up there.
KBE.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
Okay.
We're done. Before we keep going, we're done. We've done 2 hours, 15 minutes. This has been a great episode, but I think we're done.
Yeah, Karen, people can read your stuff on Polygon.
Polygon.com, and I'm on Twitter at Karen Wyhan.
Strongest brand on the internet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And tune in next week.
Assassin's Creed for the Creed. Join the Creed.
Yeah.
One of the top creeds.
One of the top creeds. Probably my 3rd favorite Creed movie.
They gotta protect the seeds.
Yeah.
They do have to.
They do have to.
That is true.
Yeah.
What if Tim Burton had made Assassin's Creed?
Oh, God.
So many seeds.
Thank you all for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks,
Go see Dumbo
for social media. Go see Dumbo.
Yeah, see Dumbo.
Yeah, come on. I mean, this movie bombing is only going to make these live-action Disney movies less interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Not.
We didn't do the box office game. Whatever.
It came out a week ago.
It bombed.
What, did 55?
45.
Do you know what the biggest bomb of last year was?
Shazam did 55. Biggest bomb of last year was Mortal Engines.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
My sweet baby.
The
Shrike, we stand a legend.
Shrike is so fucking good.
Shrike is so good.
When he scream? When he scream?
What's her name again? Hester Prynne. What has Tim Burton done Mortal Engines?
What a rule.
Morty Engines.
Morty Engines.
Morty Engines also kind of couldn't be better, though.
Mortal Engines is good.
Easily be
If
better.
I were
Here's
Tim
the thing.
Burton, I would announce I was making Shrike the movie.
Oh my God. How do I pitch this to a major studio?
Yeah, Shrike's big vacation.
Shrike's big day out.
Shrike's
Big Top Shrike.
Big Top Shrike. That's the pitch. Big
Shrike
Top
by
Shrike.
Aardman.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Mortal Engines is good.
Yep.
Every time I recommend it to someone, I keep walking it back. I keep being like, it's great. No, it's all right. No, it's fine. Only part of it is okay.
it rolls.
But here, I'm going to take it back on the record.
Yeah.
Mortal Engines is top to bottom, T to be good.
She's throttling up again.
I
I'm
agree.
revving up.
It's a T to BGM. T to BG. Thing stands for Gudo for social media.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you to Leigh Montgomery for our theme song.
Okay.
Showbo and Pat Reynolds for our artwork.
Mhm.
Go to blankies.reddit.com for some real nerdy shit. Go to TeePublic for some real nerdy shirts.
Right.
You can subscribe for Blank Check bonus features on Patreon.
Right.
Talking about those Marvel movies. And basketball episode will be dropping May 11th.
Hell yeah.
If Ben remembers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so feel free to sign up in time for that. He claims the audio is salvageable.
It's more than salvageable. It's good.
Ben
Great.
did it. He fucking
Great.
did it. He had the feather. He didn't even need it.
Ben had the feather in him
Wow.
all along.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the power of fashion, Ben.
I had the holes in me the whole time.
You had the holes in you
I had the dirt, the jeans. They're all there.
the whole time. And as always,
Uh-huh.
Dumbo fucks.
Oh,
No, he
no.
doesn't.
He's
Yes,
a
he does.
child. They don't. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's it.